Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome in. Welcome to episode 10 of the KoppsCast. 10 episodes, that's crazy. Or 10 broadcasts, however you want to look at it. But yeah, how's everybody doing today? Felix is in here, Inuyasha's in here. Welcome in. If this is your first time here, welcome. I'm B-Kopps. We'll primarily play RPGs on here. Sometimes a variety of stuff. We've been playing some Ocarina of Time Master Quest on the side. And here, every other Thursday, we do these little interviews, these discussions, these podcasts with various content creators that I always really want to show some love to, show my appreciation for, give them a little highlight, and just have a good chat. So, and I'm really looking forward to my this week's guest. He's a YouTuber. He's a full-time content creator on there, filmmaker, producer. He does all that, and puts out really, really great quality stuff. And I really, like I said, I've really been looking forward to this chat. He's a good dude. Met him through another buddy, and this is actually like our first actual one-to-one chat. I'm the least familiar with him compared to most of my other guests, but that's what's gonna be fun about this talk. So, Pixel, how you doing? Welcome in. Just eating chicken fries and mac and cheese, very nice. And welcome in, Jax. Welcome. Good to see you as well. Appreciate you stopping in. This is the guy who made Ed stuff. Well, he's so yes, he has been doing stuff for Ed, and I met him through Ed, funny enough. And so anyway, without further ado, let's bring our guest, shall we? Here's Ben Hillman of Slacker Stuff. Ben, what's going on, buddy?
I didn't get to see the curtain thing. I don't know if
you got
it. Okay, cool.
Sorry, a little delayed.
I was waiting for the curtain. I'm like, oh no, what's gonna happen?
What's going on, buddy?
How's it going, everybody? I mean, at this point, everybody knows. Everybody knows what's happening.
I know that you know that I know that you know.
Exactly. We all know what's going on. No, but I'm doing pretty well. I'm doing pretty well, all things considered. Got a decent setup here. I'm healthy, so don't have to worry about any of that stuff. I'm directing myself here. I'm looking at your stream, just making sure I'm in the proper
you're
there's the
properly centered.
Yes. Cool.
I'm sure you're very very much like that when you're filming your own stuff. So
we'll get in. I'm sure we'll get into all of that. But thank you so much for having me, and shout out to that person.
Eco, my dude. Thanks so much for that 10-month sub, buddy. We appreciate it, man. How you doing? How you doing this evening? And hello, Robbie. Welcome in as well. Appreciate the lurk. Nerdy Jane is here. Jane, welcome in. She was the previous guest we had on here 2 weeks ago. If you missed that episode, you can catch it here on twitch.tv/bkopps in the video section, or on the YouTube channel. Here's a link for that if you're not subbed to that, if you want to sub and catch all the VODs on there. But Jane, how you doing? Welcome in. She says hello to Slacker
Jane
Stuff.
She was my guinea pig as far as watching how does B-Kopps do these things? I watch Nerdy Jane's, so or at least I watched some of it. So I was like, okay, that's how it's gonna be. That's where the hard hitting questions are gonna come in.
Yeah, man.
How's my audio? I don't know.
Yeah, you good.
I'm away from the mic. Okay, cool.
Yeah, no, you're coming in pretty good. So yeah, and if there's any audio issues, I'm sure someone in the chat will mention it. But
yeah, you guys can just yell at me. I'm looking at the chat too. So.
Yeah. Eco's doing good. Very nice, man. Very nice. But yeah, so I mean, we were chatting a little bit before this, but how have you been holding down during all this madness? You mentioned you're doing the best you can, but what else has been going on? I mean, luckily for you work from home anyway. You don't have to really go out anywhere, so that's a plus. I'm in that same boat, but yeah, so
Yeah, I mean, I talk about it a lot on my YouTube channel. That's not a plug. That's just for people that are familiar. You're gonna be bored with me talking about this because I talk about it a lot. But I'm really into my weekly routine, or I should say my weekday routine, is really dialed into something where it like works really well for me. Every once in a while, like earlier this week, it just wasn't doing it for me. But that's been what's keeping me sane. Because I think that what's super important right now for a lot of people, and at least I guess I can only speak for myself, but I would assume is important for a lot of people, is just the separation of space. Not, because I mean, like you said, I'm in this room pretty much the entire week. I pretty much haven't gone outside since March. I've gone outside, but I've pretty much been here, holding down the fort in this room. But anyways, yeah, it's the morning routine has been super crucial for me. Happy to go into that, but I don't want to. I feel like I'm monologuing right now.
I mean, no, you're fine, man. If you want to, if you want to go into your process, but
monologue it up, says Jane. Yeah. So I mean, don't worry, I'm not one of those YouTubers that has made a specific morning routine video yet. I thought that was a big trend a while ago. But pretty much, I mean, wake up at 6 in the morning. I go, walk my dog. I do a workout, and then the specific thing that I always make sure that I do is it's like after I've showered and I've gotten dressed, instead of just going right into my room, I'll like do a fake commute. So I'll walk around the neighborhood like basically a mile, because that was what my walk was before I moved here. And so I'll do that in the morning, and then start doing work, and then at night I will do that in reverse, just to kind of give me that space and like kind of it's fake, but it's like it helps maintain a little bit of normalcy.
Yeah.
And I've even gone as far as like when I come home from work, I make sure to like change out of my work clothes, even though like yes, just like everyone, I could wear sweatpants every single day.
It's just too nice, man.
But yeah, that's honestly, I cannot preach enough how much that has helped just with like my mental stability and like and separating spaces, even though I can't physically separate them. Time wise, it's been really good. So yeah,
it's good, man. I love that, that whole approach that you've been taking the day. Because like, I mean, for me, I've just been, because I don't have to get up like that much earlier. Like, I mean, luckily for me, right, like when I had to go in the office, it's only 10 minutes down the road anyway, so it's not a big deal. But still, it's like now I feel like I'm just getting out of bed like at the last possible minute. And plus, like when all this started going down, my sleep schedule just kind of went off the rails. But so that'll do it. But no, that's a really good idea. Like, yeah, just go for a quick walk around the block just to so you have a little bit of an exercise in, but
feel free to steal it.
Hey,
I'm giving that away for free. That's not my patented method.
Jordan, welcome in, buddy. Welcome in, dude. Hope you're well, man. Yeah. But yeah, glad you're doing well, and your family's all doing good. Like nothing. Like everyone's all in good health and stuff.
I'm fortunate. I mean, like, one of the, I mean, well, I'm sure we'll get into this too, but like, I'm currently living with my parents in my like childhood bedroom. That's where I am right now. So the bonus is like, I don't have to worry about my parents dying. Or at least if they were to get sick, like I am here.
Yeah, you're just always there for them. That's really good.
So there's that.
Cool, man. Yeah. So usually I always once we get into the whole that whole thing, I'll usually discuss like how I met the guests and whatnot. So I haven't met you yet in general. Like this is, like I said, this is our first like 1-to-1, but
yeah,
I met you initially online. through Ed Campers, or Camp the Boy now, or was always Camp the Boy, but went with that. But and yeah, he just happened to was watching him one day right into your channel, and yeah, and hung out with you for a little bit there, and then ultimately, because you mentioned your YouTube channel, went and checked that out, and yeah, just absolutely loved your content, man. So
thank you. Thank you. No, and I'm grateful to have, like, I've been seeing you on there. Like, I'm sure you know, being a content creator yourself, like how I still can't really put it into words how amazing it is to be able to connect with even just one person online. And like, I don't think that people who, I don't want to generalize here, but I guess I'm generalizing. I think that folks that don't consistently put out content, it's not necessarily clear how meaningful it is to get like a comment on your video. Like, even just one person leaving a comment on my video, it's like, yeah, maybe they hated it, maybe they're gonna be a jerk, but it means so much when people like actually take the time to, type more buttons and actually leave an impression. That just means the world. And the only reason I bring this up is you've been one of those people that has showed up and has dropped a comment, dropped a like, and that honestly, it means the world. I wish I could thank each individual person.
I mean, that's the thing. You want to support your friends. You want to support the smaller content creators. Like, I mean, even just on Twitch, like, especially like during when all this madness started going down, and I couldn't be more grateful for a lot of the friends I've met, like, in the past year, or even in the last, like, 7-8 months that this has all been going down, and how much like appreciation I have for everyone to like that's really like gotten me through it, and yeah, so and then with your channel, like I said, when I started doing this talk show thing, you were always you're one of the top ones that I wanted to have on, like,
thank you, man.
and I always I always try to have some variety, like, because I didn't want to have it be like just streamers. Like, I've had like musicians, I have other buddies that are YouTube content creators too, and but yeah, I've just always felt like with your channel in general, like, it's just like super underrated, and like for the quality of stuff you've been putting out there. I don't know. We just need more. We need more eyes on your shit, dude. And I mean, even though like my channel is small, but like I still like wanted to give you some sort of highlight for that.
Well, thanks, man. I appreciate that. It's yeah. I mean, I didn't get into it a bunch when we were talking before we started streaming, but it's like I'm actually in a phase right now where, like, I've been doing this consistently-ish for about a year now, and I'm going through and just kind of really making sure that I'm putting out what I want to put out. I know you praised me for consistency, at least recently, and I definitely have been consistent. Like, I made it a goal, I think, a few months ago, to put out a video every Monday at 10 a.m. Just because I tend to get really perfectionist about things, and I knew that would like remove some of that. And so, but I actually like have, I didn't post this Monday. I'm like kind of reworking some of that stuff, but yeah, someone just subscribed, and that's really dope.
Yeah. Walking Dead Band, thank you so much for that 4-month sub, buddy. I really appreciate it. Dude, this is actually funny enough. Like, when I do these, whenever there's like, if like someone subs or throws something, or like a raid happens, that's my biggest like thing, because I don't want to interrupt you. I always wait. I try to wait till like you're done talking, and then I'll like be like, let me interrupt you for a second, then I'll jump into that. But yeah, Deadpan, thank you so much for that 4-month sub, buddy. I appreciate it, dude.
Awesome.
Of course, if you're not following Walking Deadpan, check him out as well.
Walking Deadpan, nice. I get it. Intentionally interrupt. Yeah, that's a perfect thing for you to do. Just intentionally, like, it's a good thing I wasn't in like a really like emotional like epiphany or something like that. Just like, hold on a second, wait.
Just stop it. Stop giving us the feels right now.
it's all good.
But you're saying you because you were putting out kind of consistently, you've just been on like a little break now.
I mean, like, I've got a whole video about this, about quality and quantity, and how I think that the perfect thing is the blend between the two. I think that's what everyone shoots for. I don't think that's a super profound thing for me to say, but I kind of got caught up recently in like needing to put out a lot, I guess, or rather, consistency. I think consistency breeds that audience that people look for. Because each video that you put out, as I'm sure you know, with each stream that you put out, it's all about just getting another at bat. It's all about just getting in front of people's eyeballs. And it's weird, especially with YouTube, where it's like, okay, I want to like have a regular schedule where I put videos out, but sometimes the content itself is going to suffer from the schedule because I'm going to be worried about actually meeting a deadline instead of like worrying about or focusing, I should say, on something that's going to be really valuable to the end consumer. So yeah, that's what I've been kind of realizing over the last few weeks, and there's some ideas that I have of like the direction I want to go now. Yeah, so this week has been kind of that, just kind of resetting and being like, all right, am I putting out what I really want to put out? Am I doing what I really want to do? I'm happy to get into more of that stuff, but
yeah. I was actually, I figured we'd get into like all the YouTube stuff after, but I kind of wanted to, figured we'd learn a little more about you in general before we do the full dive. So, I mean, you're from Cali, from the West Coast, grew up there. Just always lived in Cali, or have you kind of been around and what's it been like living out there?
Yeah, I mean, born and raised in Los Angeles, actually in the town of South Pasadena, or I guess we're technically a city, South Pasadena, California. If you know where the Rose Parade is, Rose Bowl, very close to that, but South Pasadena is actually a different. Sorry, I got distracted by Nerdy Jane's question. I want to answer that.
It's a very important question.
Hop out chat. I knew I was going to get distracted. But anyways, yeah. So grew up in South Pasadena, and I knew that I wanted to go into film. I wanted to do some sort of filmmaking thing. My dad's a location manager for film and television, so I had that exposure growing up to like the business side of things. And I thought like, oh, this is cool, like people making videos or movies, I should say, not videos. Only reason I bring that up is I knew I really liked this area and I really liked being here. But I wanted to make sure that I really because basically at the time when I graduated high school, I thought like, I could stay here, like this is great, like, I could stay here forever. And I wanted to get out somewhere else, like just experience somewhere, even if it was, I don't know, in the, California is really big. So even if it was like San Francisco, like a different city north. But anyways, yeah, that brought me to Emerson College in Boston, where I met Ed, who we connected through. Ed, I guess Camper Boy now, he changed. Yeah. And so, yeah, that brought me to Boston. And then now I'm back here again.
Sweet, man. And if you want to answer Jane's question.
Yeah.
This is
Jane's question.
This is so I did for the last, basically every other week when I'm not doing these interviews, I just do like a just chat with everybody. And the last few weeks I've been doing tier lists, and I've been like heavily like, oh man, I got flack really hard because when I was ranking all the Disney movies, I put Hercules as a B tier. And so where would you rank that?
You done goofed. That's an A tier movie, my guy. A tier. Sure.
But like I was like very much like, all right, I don't hate this movie. I like this movie. But just comparing it to like all the other movies like in the list though. So that was like my hold up. But
what was the list? I gotta see the list now. I know this is like going on off the rails.
I'll have to send it to you afterward.
Okay, but Hercules A tier. That's final answer. Lock it in.
All right. So there you go, folks. But yeah, so you grew up in Cali. You said you went to Emerson in Boston. And how'd you like living on the East Coast?
I mean, at first, after a semester, I was ready to transfer. I was like, come on, it's so fucking cold here, and I can swear, right?
Yeah. You're good. You're good.
Shit, fuck. And so I was definitely ready, like weather-wise, but it was actually or I guess I was thinking of moving back in the summer after freshman year, but then Emerson has this really great program where Emerson owns a castle in the Netherlands, and it's wacky. It's like that's the study abroad thing you can do, and so I was able to do that. I was really fortunate to do that, and that's where I met mutual friends of Ed, and eventually there's four of us basically who I met. Two of them at the castle, and then Pat was back in Boston. I ended up meeting him when I came back, but I only bring that up because that was what sold that's basically what kept me there. Is like I met these really fantastic friends, and yeah, that's what kept me there. Honestly, it was the people.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
and it's kind of interesting because you lived in LA, you grew up in LA, which is like, I feel like, because I had a buddy that actually moved to LA because he's a filmmaker too, and figure like a lot of people like want to go there to like do that stuff, but then did you like have more of the intention just to like to go to Boston and then like maybe come back later and do that, or did you just feel like you wanted to like go out to the East Coast and then like just try your luck out there because like because everyone's like, because LA is like essentially like the prime place essentially,
right?
Just to like get out of like the norm kind of thing.
No, for sure. Initially the plan was go to Boston for a little bit and then come back to LA pretty much after I graduated. The goal was, it's like I'll get some like, I don't know if Boston is like the place you should go for life experience, but it was like I gotta go get some life experience and then come back. It was really about seeing if LA was the place that I want to end up in. But as luck would have it, I ended up being at while I was at Emerson, I found, I was looking for a summer internship that I could do while between my junior and senior year. And I found this great company that I really love the people. It's a company called Coach Up. They're still around now. Sorry, I'm distracted by something completely unrelated. And I ended up, so weirdly, that was this weird thing where like, Judgy Fudgy ended up working at Coach Up with me. But yeah, it was a weird thing where it's like, okay, that was a summer between 2 years. And then like I mentioned, Emerson also has a campus in LA. And so I did that following semester.
Nice.
But then I came back for another semester.
Yeah.
And then finding that company actually was what like kept me in Boston. And so I worked there for a little bit doing video work basically.
I take it they're a startup too.
Yeah, startup. And unfortunately, like about a year and a half after I graduated, so in like 2017, weren't great. I mean, without giving too many details, like they weren't great with money, and ended up having to like lay a lot of people off, and real heartbreaker for a lot of us, especially. Judgy Fudgy, like he was lucky enough to get an internship, and then they brought him on full time, and then a month after he basically started officially was when we all got laid off. It was just like, he's doing okay now. He's doing great. I'm really proud of him. He's got his master's now.
Hell yeah.
This is the Judgy Fudgy portion of the podcast. So.
Shout out to Judgy Fudgy.
Yeah.
Appreciate you tuning in, buddy.
I'm doing good. It's true. It is true.
Yeah, welcome in. We have a lot more folks coming in. Edry, welcome in, man. Bear, B, Jordan, good to see all of you.
Hey, everybody.
appreciate y'all hanging out with us. Edry said that the LA film scene is slavery with extra steps. Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you, like, I am not planning. I mean, I'm out here now, but I'm not planning on going into the film scene. It is not my vibe. It's like, you know, why work towards that when like there is a direct to, like, I can get right in front of people's eyeballs by putting shit out on YouTube. Like, I get it. Like, a whole bunch of my friends are in the film scene and like are working their way up the ladder and doing really well for themselves, and I'm really happy for all of them. But not for me. I'm good.
So you just had like no intention to like get into filmmaking in general, like that kind of filmmaking in general, or did you have like some sort of aspiration like growing up that you wanted to like do your own feature lengths and stuff like that?
I mean, yeah, growing up, I definitely wanted to be a filmmaker. I think that's where a lot of people. I mean, nowadays, I feel like there is the opportunity for folks to, you know, see YouTube or TikTok or Twitch and be like, I want to do that. It's like it's fucking hard, but it's like that is a option that people can choose.
Yeah.
I started putting videos on YouTube when I was in middle school in 2007. I think it was 2007. But yeah, like, so
making me feel old, man.
I know, it makes me an old man on YouTube. Yes, Smosh was like one of my I was very early on Smosh. And I mean, but yeah, so I in a way I grew up, like I said, a lot of my family's in the film industry, so I was like I grew up experiencing some of those sides of it, but was very inspired by things like YouTube. I mean, YouTube is, you know, I've wanted to be a YouTuber since I was in middle school, and yeah, I'm still working on that goal. It's been like over 10 years. I think it's been 12 years, or I guess almost 13 years now. So, yeah.
Who are some of like the first things you put out, like from when you were in middle school? just like funny funny clips like with your friends and whatnot, or do you have like specific?
I don't know. You didn't bring this up on purpose, but if you'd like to see some of those videos, you can subscribe to my Patreon where I review them every month.
Ooh, plug.
Yeah, I'm plugging. Sorry, always plugging. Yeah, but I mean, just stupid sketch videos, like some questionable things that like nothing like, just cringy is basically what I mean. Like some really cringy like stuff. I don't even know if the videos are even out there anymore. I think I made sure that I took all of them down.
Erased from existence.
Yes. Unfortunately, there was a big scandal among me and my group of friends because I took down all of our videos and downloaded them. Like, I didn't delete them. But one of the videos that I downloaded, for some reason, like, only downloaded a portion. So, like, there's a video that we have that's, like, just completely gone. And it's heartbreaking. It was a parody of Pimp My Ride called Pimp My Scooter. And it was about, like, razor scooters.
Oh, man.
And it's very silly. And
I want to see this.
Unfortunately, because of me, my biggest regret, it will probably never be seen again. Or I guess you can see the first minute and a half. But
well, that's when you do a new version in 2021.
I know.
Pimp My Scooter Redux.
I actually wasn't even in it. It was my, like, it was on the YouTube channel that my friends and I were putting on there, and it's like, I feel really bad because it's like, it almost seems like, oh, I deleted it because I wasn't in it. And it's like, no, I promise you, like, this was a complete accident. I blew it. It's a huge mistake, huge regret that I had in my life.
You mentioned that your family is in the entertainment industry as well. Like, what parts are they involved with? Yeah,
so I would say I was trying to be clever with the way I was going to word that, but I'll just say they're like titles. My dad is a location manager for film and television. Pretty much exactly how it sounds for those of you that don't know what it is. He finds the locations for the movies, works with the production manager and works with the director, producer. Once they find the locations, lock it down. LA being the way that it is, you have to kind of I mean, it's a well-known thing that you have to. I'm saying this like it's shady. It's not shady. It's like you basically you pay people to use their space, and it's like it's gotten more expensive and expensive. I have an aunt that's in set decorating. She did the set decoration for The West Wing. And she won an Emmy.
Oh, nice!
Very cool.
That's awesome.
I discovered that show way after she produced it, but it's like I watch it. And, like if I have a question, I'll just text her. It's like, wait, how did you like do this hallway or something like this, or was this crazy or something like that? And then I've got another aunt that she kind of like started everyone's career, family career, because pretty much families from Wisconsin and New Hampshire, ironically, or New England, ironically, not New Hampshire, and she is a production designer. So yeah, like I guess the clever thing I was going to be is it's like the people that I know in the industry are not like huge like producers and directors. It's very much like I would say the working class side of things, like upper middle class side of things. So
but still they have pretty significant roles in like what they do, like in
sure.
order to make the show happen. So that's still like just as important,
No, I'm fascinated. Like you asked like, do I want to make movies or something? It's like one of my dreams is I want to make a documentary about location managers, because I think it's a completely underrated role. Like you'll see, you don't know what you're looking at necessarily if it's a set or if it's. I mean, sometimes you can tell if it's a set or a location.
Yeah.
But I think just like the links that they have to go to get there are sometimes excruciating, and securing a location just is such a thankless job. And to top it off, they're like, it's weirdly like you'd think like a location manager is in the Producers Guild or like the Directors Guild or something like that, but it's like they're in the Teamsters Guild. Like they basically are associated with, and I'm not putting them down at all, but like you're put in with the transportation folks, like the people driving the trucks, and it's like like I said, I'm not putting that group down. I just mean it's like you're basically associating, location manager, you drive a bunch, or locations team, you drive a bunch, so you're going to be you're in the transportation, whatever. So yeah,
I feel like depending on like the scope of the movie or the show, whatever, like you feel like with like a lot of movies like nowadays, like because you have like especially a lot of the big budget ones where they're literally just in a big green screen room, blue screen room, however, because like especially if it's like a fantasy movie, like it's kind of tough to recreate that in like on Earth, just like in the real world. But like,
have you seen The Mandalorian?
Yes.
Oh my god, that's crazy. I love that stuff. Although that's gonna kill my dad's job, like it's still awesome.
Yeah, but yeah, like you said, like it's still like for someone like in that role, just a whole lot of whole lot of appreciation, a whole lot of like respect for like because they need to find like that good spot to shoot this, and and despite like I said, like despite like for some spots for some films that like where location wouldn't they might not be going to a specific spot somewhere and they'd be doing it there, but you still have like the more smaller budget stuff where like they need that spot that like this is gonna look perfect in. And
well, if you ever seen the movie Castaway, or if you haven't, you should watch Castaway. The opening and the closing of the movie is this big crossroads in Texas, and that's like my dad's crowning achievement that he found. It was like we need to find a crossroads in the middle of nowhere with like you can't see anything, and finding like it sounds like such a simple ask, like oh yeah, just like two roads in the middle of nowhere, like sure, but finding that I think it took him 2 weeks, 3 weeks or something, and basically what it was is this was back in the 90s. Didn't really. I mean, he had a cell phone, but you didn't have like a GPS or anything.
Yeah,
I guess GPS. You didn't have a smartphone. But getting up in planes, flying around, seeing like, oh, what about that, and then driving to the place, seeing if it's filmable. But yeah, that's it.
Edry mentioned, so many underappreciated roles in a film crew, and then Bear mentioned, or she asked, are location managers thanked in the credits of the movie? I imagine they would be.
They are.
So
They are in there.
Well, they're. I mean, you figure like they have to like credit everybody, like unless they're like an extra or something. Is that like basically like, I don't know
No,
if you.
I mean, I'm a little bit.
Or even extras get listed in there usually.
Yeah, pretty much everyone gets banked in the credits of the movie. The only people that usually don't get credited are it's like a cameo type thing, like basically off the books, just to get around. Like a cameo, like an actor is just like in there for
just for a quick laugh kind of thing.
Yeah, quick laugh. Like sometimes they're not really credited, and it's like that's to skate around some budget issues or something like that. I don't know. Well, yeah, they are in the credits of the movie, but not many people stay for the credits of the movie. So,
and you said you always wanted to get into filmmaking of some capacity when you were growing up, like with doing videos and being influenced by YouTubers and stuff. Did you have like aspirations like before that, or even like during that? Like, did you have like second thoughts, like maybe like I want to like get into something else for a career, or this was it? Like your heart was like dead set on this.
Well, I didn't start thinking about that until like career stuff until like maybe middle school. I think I remember in 5th grade there was like some like a 5th grade yearbook or some weird thing that we had, and I didn't know what I wanted to put, and the question was like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I was like, astronaut, I guess. So no, I mean, pretty much before that it was like I've for a long, like probably way back in elementary school, I've always wanted to have my own family. Wife, kids, like that whole shebang. So like that was the dream before any filmmaking stuff like that. But yeah, filmmaking, I've wavered very little on doing some sort of thing involved with video making.
And you mentioned you've been full-time on YouTube now for about a little over a year now, right? About a year. It was like what, September-ish something. So we're getting on a year. And you mentioned you were at that startup for a little while, and how tough was it for you to kind of make that choice to, that this is like I want to go all in on this, because I remember you mentioned in one of your videos too that you felt like you didn't have as much like creative freedom as you wanted to, and you just wanted to like be able to do more than that. And of course, like getting that experience like definitely helps as well. But what was like your mindset like when you were just like, all right, like this is it, like I'm going all in on this?
Yeah, I mean, like with most things I talk about, it's a very long story. So please cut me off at any point. I'll make it as quickly as possible.
No, it did.
But yeah, so I was at that startup, coach up, and laid off. Considered coming back to Los Angeles to potentially go into the film industry, or I was a little bit over Boston as far as like, well, I don't have this job with all my like where I made all these great friends, plus like all my friends that I went to Emerson with moved to LA to be in the film industry anyway. So I was like, I mean, I guess I'm just gonna go back there. But honestly, I stayed because I got laid off in January, and so I had a September lease, and so it's basically like 6 months where I had to pay for an apartment. So I was like, well, I guess I'll get a bridge job or something like that. And I happened to find a job. I found it crazy quickly. I mean, that's the one thing about Boston that is really great for people like myself. You're a big fish in a small pond as far as video creating. So if you're competent at putting a video together, you can typically find work in Boston like fairly easily. So I was able to get another job at a company called Profitwell, and that was I knew going into that was a big challenge for me, because coming from Coach Up, which was all about sports and sports training, something that's like I get, like I played sports growing up. I was an athlete in college, then at Profitwell, like, I mean, the best way to describe Profitwell is they're an analytics company for subscription metrics, as well as they also help companies price their products. There's nothing sexy about that. It's really hard to make a marketing whatever for that. And so I knew that was going to be a big challenge.
Yeah.
So then I did that. That was in 2017. And then 2019 of last year, I turned 25 in March of last year, and I had a little bit of a quarter life crisis. I was like, is this what I want to be doing? Like, I had a really good opportunity there to continue to move up the ladder and eventually get into some sort of like creative director's type role. It was my heart has always been on being a YouTube creator, and so I had the thought, like, I have an opportunity here where, despite the stigma of moving back into the home where I grew up in and living with my parents, I mean, my parents are my roommate, this is an opportunity for me to try and go after this thing that I've always wanted but never been able to really focus on. And so, I mean, it was a hard decision, but ultimately ended up being like a fairly easy decision as far as like being at peace with it. So yeah, I don't know if I answered the question. I was trying to get to like that point right there, but yeah, I decided in like May of last year. It was basically between moving and starting a office for the company, like a West Coast office in Salt Lake City, or moving back here and not being in the company anymore. So yeah, I moved back here. For the first 6 months, I just basically lived off of savings. And then I actually, March of this year, ended up going back to Profitwell part-time in a contractor role. So like, I'll do that so I actually can pay the bills. And
Yeah.
But yeah.
No, that's good. I mean, I definitely feel you on that, because like it pretty much like mirrors like what happened to me in a sense, because like I was 25, 26, something like that, and I got let go from it was like my first like big out of college job at a local startup, and got laid off because the company grew, then bad decisions happened.
Yep.
First string of cuts, survived that. Then Christmas came around, and like I just could see the writing on the wall. I'm like, all right, this isn't gonna be good. And then like literally right after the new year, second cuts happened, didn't make that. So and yeah, I definitely I feel you on that. Like, it was just because my buddy half man bear pig in the chat, because he was living in LA at the time, and I was actually like debating like, do I want to move to West Coast and like just get a fresh start kind of thing and do that. But then it was like kind of like, I don't know if I want to be like too far from like my family, like, because what if like something happens, and do I want to like be across the country, and I mean, God forbid. I mean, thankfully, like, things have been good since then, but and then eventually I just kind of like, I planned it out, so I was gonna like go out there for a trip anyway, and then like right before I went, I had like an interview for another job, took that, and but yeah, no, I it's it definitely like it puts that idea in your head, like, like how do I want to keep going to like keep the creativity going, but because especially if it's like a job you like really like love doing too, and but in your case, you ended up just like making that jump, and here you are almost a year later, like full time doing your stuff, and it's been great seeing like all the stuff, especially like in like that time span, which I consider some of like your best stuff too. So
yeah, I mean, I empathize with you. Well, I feel for you with like being someone that lasts the first round of cuts at a company. I definitely have grown to feel so bad for people that were in that were in the second round of cuts, or at least had to watch like basically in one day they just like cut the entire company in half.
Yep.
And to be one of those people that like basically has to watch, oh, there go all my friends, like, great. So that must have been really hard for you.
Yeah. It basically just like everyone just, all right, we're going to the bar next door. Who's coming?
Yep,
like, that was basically what it was.
Exactly. Yep. There's a lot of that. Was about a week for me of like just I guess today I'm gonna drink, do that.
Yeah, but and yeah, what would you like? And then obviously, and then going forward with this, like making this like your full-time thing, and it's just the whole like the risk reward of that. But what would you say is like? What would you say has been like the most rewarding aspect of making that jump so far?
The most rewarding aspect. It's a great question. I would say it is knowing that just being at peace with it, making this decision. Mm-hmm. It's knowing that like this is such a huge privilege that I was able to take this. I'm so lucky that I was able to situationally make a decision like this one. And so the most rewarding aspect of that has been just, I don't know, it sounds dumb, but it's like being able to do this has been the most rewarding aspect. And I'm struggling with like how to verbalize this.
It's all good, man.
But yeah, and being able to put stuff out there that has resonated with folks like you. Like I mentioned before, just making one like connection with one person. There's one person leaving a comment saying like, even it's just like, hey, nice video. I really enjoyed the curtains in the background or something. I don't have curtains in there. But yeah, just like that's probably the most rewarding thing. I came around to it. The just reaching people, seeing people consistently show up, like that's when it really feels like you have a semblance of a community. Mm-hmm. I don't have a bunch of people that consistently show up, but just even like friends and family that will leave a comment on like pretty consistently. It's like, you are fantastic, even if you're just doing this to be nice. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's also exciting to see like, to see a channel grow too. Like, I don't know whether like our Twitch friends on here or in the chat right now, or just or just in general, and then my folks on YouTube too. Like my first guest was my buddy Taylor. He has a channel called The Gaming Shelf where he covers RPG stuff, and he was in like the lower like thousands for a long time, and then he was actually another guy who ended up. He quit his job and ended up starting his own company. Like him and his buddy, they moved cross country. They got a house, and then they just started doing their own film editing company basically. Sweet. And they're getting a lot of work from that. But he's still like putting in a lot of time for his YouTube channel too, and he's been like really consistent with that. And he's been he's really been having stuff that's been hitting. And like his numbers have just like skyrocketed since then. Like now he's like 15K now, probably maybe like closer to 20. Like it's just crazy. And like when I had him on, he was probably like
his channel, just so I remember to check it out.
The Gaming Shelf. He covers like all like JRPGs and or like Japanese games in general.
Sweet.
But yeah, it's just been awesome to see him that blowing up, and then also. The guest I had after him, my buddy's band in Lame Genie, whose song's actually playing right now. They're like they've been putting out like they're getting into like the whole algorithmic schedule basically of like putting stuff out consistently, and they get some good views on videos here and there, but like their subs didn't really turn on. But then this past week. They put out a cover of a Fall Guys song, and
fuck yeah.
Dude, it blew up on Twitter. Like it's like insane, and like the developers, like the developers, the composers of the game, like everyone's like retweeting it, and then like literally like their numbers have just like been it's been awesome seeing like just like even their sub numbers in general just like really like popping just from that, and so yeah, and then, you know, likewise, and it'll be like the same with your channel too. You know, like you're gonna have like that one video that really just like that really kicks off, and you know that I think that's what's cool about, you know, knowing these like smaller content creators, and, you know, becoming good friends with them, and then, you know, and then as they grow, and then it's just like, dude, it's just such a cool thing to see, you know.
No, I mean, thank you. That's I also I realized something while I was doing this, that I have my free subscription that I'm subscribed now. Boom. I think so. Did I do it? Yeah,
you did.
It worked. Cool.
Thank you so much for that Prime sub.
I keep reading I have it because I'm not a great Twitch man. But yeah.
Enjoy your various Emperor's New Groove themed emotes. Enjoy your and Judge and Fudgy. Thank you for the follow as well, Judge.
Right there.
Yeah, enjoy your Emperor's New Groove themed emotes. Enjoy the Raging Cop emote. Enjoy the.
I should be able to do this, right?
Yeah, right in the chat. Wolf House, how's it going, buddy? Welcome in. Hope you're doing well.
I'm so bad. I'm such an old man when it comes to Twitch.
Oh, good. And you get that bronze trophy badge too.
Sweet.
So, yeah, appreciate it, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you might ask this question. I'm gonna hold back what I was gonna say.
No, you can go for it. You can go for it.
No, I was gonna say the most difficult thing for sure is, how do I get rid of this? Go away. Not this. No, I'll just figure that out later. Yeah, the hardest thing has been, you know, this is something, I want this to be my job. Like, I want to be a full-time content creator.
Mm-hmm.
And right now I'm supplementing it with paid work, and I'm fortunately able to live in my parents' house. It has not lost on me how helpful that is. But the frustrating thing is, it's like, you know, in a sense, I feel like we all want to grow really fast, because it's like the faster you grow, the more opportunities you get, whether it's through money, through partnerships, through whatever. And that's been the frustrating thing about the last year is it was a wake-up call too. It was like, when I went into this, I thought, like, I have a pretty good idea of what I'm going to go for. Like, I'm sure I'll, like, you know, at least be like monetized by YouTube a year from now. And so not being at that place where I thought I would be, it's humbling for sure. And that's the biggest piece of advice I give to anyone trying to start a YouTube channel. Is it's like, this is something that could take like years to get to where you want to be. Mm-hmm. It's not something that you just kind of, yes, there are absolutely people that like start a channel and find a whole bunch of growth right away. But for the most part, like, there's people that do this for years and still don't get to where they want to get. So, you know.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, my buddy Taylor, he was that guy, and, you know, and then it just.
Oh, that's great.
And I think with, you know, like I said, with Lame Genie, who was on Twitter, I think it was like kind of the same boat with him. So, you know, because social media, that plays such like a huge factor into it too. And I mean, it just, you know, for how much realistically, how much work it really takes to, like, you know, promote all your stuff and get eyes on it, like, in every feasible, like, way that you can. And, you know, just in whatever way you can just keep growing the audience and, you know, get eyes on the product that you just put so much work into. So,
yeah.
But yeah, so it's, you know, it'll definitely be another case like with you for sure, that, you know, it'll be like that one that really just like catapults you, you know. So just,
thanks, man. I wish the same for you.
I mean, I don't know, for this is, I don't know. I mean, for me, it's because it's not like, I don't know. I mean, what you do is like a completely different level from like this stuff. I mean, this is fun. Like, I love doing this. I mean, for, you know, like, I can't like imagine it just, you know, between like the amount of time you do for like each video, like the, you know, the specific camera shots you need, the lighting, just
Yeah.
every aspect of it that is just, which makes being a YouTuber like that much more like difficult compared to like this. I mean, this is just, for a lot of folks, you don't even need a camera, you don't need lights, you don't need anything. Like, I mean, this adds to it. I mean, I have a green screen that adds to it. I don't need it, but I just like, the adding that to my setup kind of thing. But for all that stuff that you that you put into it, I mean, you're just getting into like, how some of that's like some of the difficulties you were having with that. But which aspects of like, like setup and stuff would you consider like the biggest like undertaking, or is edit, like maybe filming. Like editing, just filming in general?
Filming. I don't like filming my own videos. The reason for this break, and it's not really, I mean, like, maybe I'll skip 2 weeks. I'd like to get back to it quickly. But yeah, so what I was working on, or rather what I've kind of been working on for a while now, is trying to batch a bunch of videos up and basically have a back catalog that I can rely on, to find that blend of quality and quantity. Because I knew that, like, all right, if I spend a week writing, like, the goal was I'm going to spend a week writing 4 videos. The next week I'm going to shoot 4 videos. The following week I'm going to, or the way I was doing them, it's like, I would shoot the talk track, then I would put it all in my editor, cut it together without any B-roll or any graphics, and then that third week would be filming the B-roll. The fourth week would be editing all 4 of those videos, so that at the end of those 4 weeks, I have 4 videos that I can post another 4 weeks, like the next 4 weeks, and then work on the next 4, basically. Mm-hmm. And this was a strategy that I had been working on in my day job, and it's something that I still do for like work stuff. Benny's in here. Benny was another Coach Up casualty, and good chum of mine. Sourbeak is Benny.
Welcome in, Sourbeak.
And yeah, Benny, you completely missed the whole Coach Up has been brought up. So you missed that. But yeah, what I discovered is it's like I really dislike. I didn't like it. I didn't like it. It felt too much like work to me. It felt like I put out a video talking about this, about how it's like, yeah, this is the part I don't like about YouTube, is just the filming part. And one of the guys that consistently has shown up for me for like 10 years now, he's been fantastic. His name is Dash. I think it's DS. Hold on, I gotta get it right because he has been fantastic. SDSBBQ on YouTube. I'm gonna put that right here on YouTube. But yeah, he commented on one of my videos, and on that video, and was talking about how it's like you put so much prep work into these videos that by the time it comes to actually film the video, you're already like sick of it. I was just like, yeah, you're absolutely right. Like that's exactly what it's like. So right now I'm figuring out like, okay, how can I continue to put out like videos like this, make it feel consistent, but not make it feel like a chore, like it's kind of felt like. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's a lot of what I'm thinking about now. Like, do I do maybe every other week? Do I do once a month, like in a higher quality video? Yeah, so that's where I'm at right now, really.
Yeah, and I'm sure like in the sense of that too, because you definitely want to be consistent. I mean, you talk about in your videos like, quality versus quantity. That was one of my favorite ones that you put out. But because you want to have like it's good to keep the grind going. It's good to have a consistent schedule, but at the same time, you don't want to be like burned out too. I mean, that's why like on here, why I only stream like 3 days a week, because like with work, because you want to have like some sort of personal life too. So it's like trying to like find a good balance of everything. Plus I want to be able to catch my friends on here and when they're on too. And it's all a matter of, just putting in the work, but not overdoing it, and not like, because if you're putting in like that much more, that's like really like just exhausting you to that point, then your quality will suffer from that. So
Hmm. You're right. I mean, I envy you streamers a lot because I mean, trust me, this is not a oh, you don't have to work that hard. It's a you're set up, like all of your work comes in the pre-production, and then like yes, you're doing things like now you're monitoring the chat. It's like this is not, by no means are you just sitting back and playing video games. Like it's much more than that. The envy that I have is that it's like it is much easier to like deliver a consistent product period over period, because you're not like packaging something and then like kind of refining it and putting it out there. It's like every single time you start streaming is that next video. Basically it's that next like at bat. And you're iterating on that over time, and you're building this coalition. I think that's a really cool thing. I hope you appreciate that part of it. It's really enviable. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's so much fun, man. Like seriously, like just, you know, I mean, especially like now when, you know, we're kind of stuck home for the most part anyway. But I mean, not entirely obviously, but you know, but especially like during like those like really like lockdown months, like it was just cool to just hang out with everybody, and you know, it still is, you know, just, you know, whether I'm playing a game, whether I'm doing this, whether I'm, you know, cause then on the next Thursday will just be the day that I just hang out with everybody, just catch up, just see how everyone's doing. And, you know, it's really great just like really getting to know people better, like through here too. And, you know, it's awesome, dude. And, you know, I'm sure it's
articulated exactly what I was trying to say. Is streaming is easier, but it's not easy. Like totally, yes. Agree with that. It's not easy.
Yeah, because I mean, you're in a sense you're live entertaining. You want to, you know, you don't want to.
I tried it once, and I did it for an hour, and my voice was killing me. I don't know how you keep a voice. I guess it's hard, dude. It's so hard.
I mean,
for 3 nights a week.
I mean, for me, well, I don't know. I guess for me too, because like, I know I grew up like just super like socially awkward, and like just having like, you know, so I've always just been like shy, quiet, like in general, and over the years I've gotten better, and you know, I guess this has sort of helped in a sense too, like doing this just to, you know, keep conversations going. And I don't know, it's and you know, and here we are, like, I mean, for someone in my shoes that I didn't think like, I mean, this interview show, this podcast thing, I don't know, it was just something different I wanted to try, even though like I'm not a professional by any means, but you know, just, I mean, why not give it a shot, you know? If it doesn't work, then it didn't work, but
I'm all for that.
And you know, and then I'm sure like it's sort of a case like with you with your videos, like if you're doing something like in a video and you feel like it's not working, or you're making something a certain way and it's not working, and then you just will kind of change it up till it does work, kind of thing, and just, you know, finding a happy medium. So
that's what I did with these 4 videos that I have are not going to see the light of day, and I have filmed. They're pretty much all filmed. Like I made them all, and the realization being, it's like they don't have this soul that I'm looking for. It's they're missing this feel. It's like they're all, you know, I use a teleprompter for a lot of my videos, and I think I got really concerned with like getting the delivery exactly right. And what I've realized is it's not like, yeah, it's helpful for delivering the words that I worked on and that I honed, but it you know, you lose a lot of that personality when you're reading off the teleprompter. There's people that can do it fantastically. Like the last job that I was at, the CEO that we had, he's in all the videos, he's in all of the marketing material pretty much, and he reads out the teleprompter a lot, and it sounds like he's delivering it. Like it sounds great. That's hard. But yeah, you know, I realized with this, especially these 4 videos, it's like, you know, it's not wasted work if they never see the light of day. I learned a lot by doing this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe you're not going to see these exact videos, but you'll see some sort of incarnation of them in the future.
How many, when you're going into like the process of like deciding when you're going to make a video, like how many do you typically like have like storyboarded at a time? Like how many, because you mentioned because you want to have like a good like backlog of them, but and especially like in your case where you're full time, like how many are you like really like planning out in advance, and how many and how long do you really take to like game plan everything?
That was, I mean, I don't really have an answer for that, honestly, because that's what I was trying to do with these 4 videos. Like, sometimes I have like 3 videos I'm working on. Sometimes it's like just this one thing that I'm zeroed in on that I have to work on.
Mm-hmm.
The process for myself that I've discovered is it's not super dependable. Like my paid work, I'm able to, I guess, be a little more diligent with because I am paid to do that. There are certain expectations that like I have to do this or I will not get the thing that makes it so I can eat. There's a little bit of that urgency there. But for my creative stuff, like I really want to do, I'm doing that for myself first. And I don't know if that's necessarily the way one should approach YouTube. That's the way that I approach, like, look, if I'm not, if I'm starting with an audience of 0, I have to be my own biggest fan.
Mm-hmm.
And so if the videos aren't working for me, like, I'm gonna go back. And subscriber.
So thank you so much for that 2-month sub, buddy. I really appreciate it. Enjoy your continued use of all those various Emperor's New Groove themed emotes. Enjoy the Raging Cop emote.
Made a wise choice.
That bronze trophy badge. And appreciate you tuning in, buddy. Hope you've been well. But yeah, that's cool, man. And and even you even though you said that you not sure that like some of those videos might not see the light of day, but maybe you might come back around to them and maybe just like repurpose them, or just rework it in a way that does work for you.
Yeah, maybe. I think I've gotten over the years a lot less. I put less emphasis on ideas being precious. I think it's like, I mean, if you want to talk about, I know you asked about like storyboarded or anything like that. It's like, I have an idea doc that it's like, if I made every single one of these videos, I mean, that would be like multiple years of videos.
Mm-hmm.
That's like, that I have ideas for. I definitely do not have a shortage of things that I could create. It's just, I guess for me, it's like, it's a vibe thing. It's like, I can't really describe it. It's a feeling of, is this thing working or is it not? And I think there's certain things I look for, like, can I clearly, is the thesis clear to this video? That's with my scripted videos. I do make it a point that it's like, I follow the 5-paragraph essay for a lot of these different videos that you've probably seen. 5-paragraph essay format, I should say, where it's like intro, body, conclusion. And I make sure that after I write that intro, thesis written out, this is the purpose of the video. And I usually say it too. But yeah.
So, and because you have to, like with your schedule, when you've been putting out consistently, I take it you have to kind of like streamline the process a little more in a sense, like to kind of like the way that you plan it out. I mean,
exactly. That was the goal with these. Is it's like there's certain topics that are going to take a different amount of time. I also it started feeling a little too formulaic for me, and it started feeling like here's this like chunk that I created, like this, I wrote out this whole thing. It's got all the components of what a video should have, but the problem with it is it's just created to be created. It's not created because there was any sort of like benefit that it gives me. And if it's not giving me a benefit, it's difficult for me to understand how other people can get a benefit. That being said, I know that like there's going to be things that people like that maybe I'm not super interested in, but other people are going to like. Like I totally get that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think I have kind of figured out like my process for making videos. But right now I'm just trying to analyze that and really make sure, is this the way that I want to go about doing things?
General question, just about the channel. How did you come up with like your brand and just like the Slacker stuff name? Like how did that how did you create that?
I'm glad you asked. That. So, I mean, like I said, 13 years on YouTube. I've had incarnation after incarnation of YouTube channels. There's a channel I don't even think I ended up starting it on YouTube. I don't think the videos I put out the videos on YouTube. There was a channel called Poor Man's Props, and it was about like, you know, backyard effects. I don't know if you saw any of those videos, but like indie mogul, like creating filmmaking techniques for the video creator. I've done sketches, I've done all sorts of things, and it's like I've always struggled with like, what do I name this thing? And so with Slacker stuff, I just wanted to call it Slacker, because there's a you know, you've seen the movie Back to the Future, right?
My favorite movie of all time.
of course you have. That was a stupid question.
I almost hung the poster where Die Hard is.
I used to have one of those. I had a poster like that too. Actually, wait, hold on. This is very important. I'm not gonna show you.
All right.
I realize I have a poster currently of Back to the Future.
Oh hell yeah! Nice.
Yeah, it's one of my prized possessions. But yeah, so that's my favorite trilogy. Probably, like, you know, I can rewatch, and I have rewatched those like back to back on repeat. And as you know, Strickland in the movie calls the McFlys slackers.
Yep.
And that became a joking thing that my dad would say, like, if I would get an A on a paper, he would be like, "You slacker!" Like,
you can get an A+.
He wasn't serious. It was very much a teasing, like,
Yeah.
and he would follow it up like, "I am proud of you. Like, that's awesome." But yeah, it was like, "Oh, you slacker," and so it became this thing. And my default setting is very much that slacker. It's to just like, I don't want to work on anything. I don't want to do things. Like, I'd rather just play video games or play The Sims or something super just menial that like has no purpose other than to just do the game. And so actually the reason that I settled on it is it's a challenge. It's a challenge to myself to like not be this thing. Or it's a challenge to actually do something, create something worth that can support me, so that I can slack off, so that I can just kind of do my own thing. Slacker was taken as a website. I think it's some radio channel or something. So Slacker stuff is just the stuff is just added on there because it's like, I guess it's very much in the vibe of Slacker too.
I mean, it has a good ring to it.
It's like stuff. Yeah. So that's that. Yeah.
And plus, I feel like with like, as opposed to if it was just called Slacker, but with Slacker stuff, I feel like it also, it kind of gives you like, all right, here's stuff you do to not be a slacker kind of thing. So
yeah.
So you know.
Exactly. Yeah, that's. I mean, it's tough too though, because like, I mean, having been. So I also the internship that I had in Los Angeles while I was at Emerson was at a multi-channel network for a YouTube channel. They were called Collective Digital at the time. They're called Studio 71 right now. And I got to kind of see the inner workings of the beast, to see like how they approach these different channels, and I was able to, I learned a lot about optimization of YouTube channels, and that was like a skill that I was able to market to potential employers and whatnot. And through that, and through just creating on YouTube for so long, and through just watching other channels talk about this so much, I know that, success on YouTube is straightforward. It's not simple, but it is straightforward. It's like, it is number one, timing. It is consistency. It is, and then it's also specificity. Like the more niche you are, I feel like can be a really strong thing for you. If you look at someone like Casey Neistat, who I would generalize as like he's very much a general creator. Like if you want to get to something like that, where you can just kind of make whatever you want, you have to make something like really impactful, like his bike lanes video, like his entire vlogs that he did that, you know, revolutionized a entire genre. All this to say, I feel like specificity is really essential for growth, and that's one thing that I'm conscious of with my channel, that I am very much just making videos that I enjoy. I'm not really creating in a niche, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, you could I'm sure you could say, like, you know, there's self-help to an extent, but that's what I'm really trying to think about right now. Is like, what's the niche that I want to go on? Like, how can I niche down? How can I talk about things that are like important to me while not restricting myself to just talking about this one thing? So yeah.
I mean, I love like the general like themes, the general topics that you will go into your channel. Like you talk about like mindfulness, like just like mental health stuff, as well as some other just like tips and tutorial stuff. How did you decide you wanted to go that route with your channel?
I mean, it's been really valuable to me to work on my mental health, and to work on myself, and to, you know, really learn who Ben is. And, you know, it's kind of like I said with YouTube, is it's not easy, but it's pretty straightforward. It's like, practice mindfulness. If you can go to therapy, like big therapy proponent here. I think journaling is super helpful, meditation, all these sort of things that like really help me get in tune with who I am and how I'm feeling. These things brought me such value, and I discovered these, I guess, in college, and I'm still working on myself in this sense. And so yeah, it was just like, you know, this is stuff that has worked for me and that I'm passionate about. So I guess I'm gonna make content based on this. Like, wasn't a bunch of mulling over. I just kind of ended up with that.
And it's cool, like, because I mean, I'm someone that's dealt with, been dealing with like, you know, like anxiety, like that kind of stuff, like for the better part of like over a decade now, and you know, not so much to an extreme extent, but I'm still to a point where because I had those experiences, like whenever I see anyone like going through that stuff, I'm always like someone posts on Twitter, I'm like throwing them a message, or you know, if I see, you know, someone posts on Discord and in the chat, like they mention they're going through a tough time, I was like, you know, if you need to talk, I'll provide an ear. Like I just want to be able to show support like in any way that I can, and I think that's awesome that, like, you know, with your channel too, how you'll like delve into like a lot of that stuff, and it's even though we want to, you know, just we try our best to, you know, to listen, to give advice, because I mean we can still go through it too, and it's just, this is the way that like I've really like learned to, you know, to really like help like get through this stuff, like just talking to other people, you know, like they share their experiences, and I share my own, just you know, you'll get through this. That's you know, no matter like, you know, no matter like what you're going through, like we can, you know, like talking helps, and it's just a way to, you know.
No, I mean, I'm really glad that you brought that up. I mean, I've seen you, like, even just you posted this the other day about you were feeling really overwhelmed and anxiety, a lot of high levels of anxiety, and I don't know if you understand how like important that is for you to like put that out there. Like, I know it can seem like we're just complaining and whining or whatever. I've felt that way before myself, but it is really, really special to be able to connect with other people in that sense. Like when I saw you mention that, I was like, I'm not like it really is. It sounds hokey and it sounds cheesy, but it's like we are not alone in dealing with these different things.
Yeah.
Like we're all going through our own stuff. And so thank you for being open about that. Like you deserve a lot of credit for that.
Yeah, and like with that, you know, like the thing that I posted about the other day was just like my thing lately is just like more of like a guilt that I have for like no reason about like anything. Like, you know, just like feeling guilty that like I'm not like reaching out to my friends more than I should, you know, despite everything that's going on right now, and just like stuff like that, and you know, but and though it's, you know, and then of course like everyone's like understandable of like everything that's going on right now, and but you know it's you know it can still get to you sometimes, but you know it's just it's just a way, you know, because you know it definitely like overthinking stuff, and yeah, it's just a matter of like putting it in your head like you are overthinking this, and you know it's really like you don't need to make a you don't need to make a big deal, as much of a deal of it as you are, but you know, but it can still, you know, it can still hit you sometimes, you know.
I feel like it's probably similar to, you know, what I was talking about before about this survivorship guilt of, I mean, this is talking about like being laid off from a company or people being laid off while you're at the company. Mm-hmm. But you know, there is definitely a feeling that I'm sure you feel too of, it's like I am in good health right now. I am feeling good, mm-hmm. and I feel bad that I feel good because there are so many people that are hurting right now. Like, and I think that is, I don't know if saying it's like, oh, that's normal does it justice, but it's like you're not alone in feeling that way. Right. And I'm not placing judgment on that way one way or the other, but it's just like, just remember that you're not the only one going through this, and that there are other people that are, you know, are going through what you're going through.
Exactly, yeah. And yeah, and it's just the best way, yeah, to get through this, like I said, just, you know, giving that ear to someone that needs it, and you know, just giving any sort of feedback you can to, you know, to give them that assurance, like that, you know, you'll be good, you're strong, you're good, you're gonna get through this. So
thank you, Man Bear Pig, by the way, for subscribing. Appreciate it.
I feel like that being quoting it. Pretty much. I like with your channel, you have your main like tagline for it is searching for meaning in digital awareness. Which and you actually like you did a video kind of like talking about it a little bit too. You did a little comparison of like having like a physical interaction with somebody as opposed to like a digital one. But could you kind of delve it more into like the meaning of that? So
absolutely. That's ironically that's like kind of one of the things I'm thinking about is like I feel like that is too broad of a thing to like focus on for my channel. So I'm like trying to see if I can niche down in some stuff. But yeah, my intention with that is that I believe that the internet is a tool and it can be used for some really shitty things, and it's been used for some really bad things. At the same time, it can be used for some fantastic things. I mean, without it, you and I wouldn't be talking right now. You and I wouldn't have met. Exactly. There's entire relationships I've had that have been built off of this, that have been inspired by this, that have been driven by this. I know I've had many friends that have had their, you know, romantic relationships have been able to survive based on the internet. And it's, so to me, it's like, and I was trying to find like okay, how do I say what I'm just told you in one small little chunked up sentence thing. And I think all of us are kind of searching for meaning. We're all kind of figuring out what our purpose is, and if we know our purpose, how can we continue to do that? How can we perpetuate our purpose? Mm-hmm. then the digital awareness part is it's like just being aware that we are, I mean, you know, practicing awareness, practicing mental awareness, whatever is very important for knowing who you are and knowing where you are and your place in the world. And I feel like digital awareness is like understanding your footprint online. And I know, I mean, you know, you like myself grew up in a place where the internet was part of our lives pretty much for a good chunk of it. You know, I'm very close to the cutoff of what it means to be a millennial.
Yeah.
I can't claim to be a Zoomer. But yeah, it's like it's not a thesis, or it's not a statement about how get used to it. The internet's here, it's here to stay. Because I feel like we're all kind of in agreement there. It's like, yeah, this isn't going anywhere. But it's what we do with it that really matters. And I feel like if we can focus it on fostering relationships and building relationships, you know, finding that meaning, that it can be really beneficial.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And I like that you, in a lot of your videos, like, especially because you have part of like your series, like your mental health series that you do. You've been doing like a lot of more like thought provoking videos that kind of like ask like certain questions, like just ways to better yourself. Have those been like I mean, obviously, since those are like probably more of like the focus of overall compared to like some of your other content, but do you feel like, do you get like certain like responses like through those like from like other folks, or do you or like with those videos specifically, do you feel that like with some of the questions that those ask that that they are able to like really like engage enough like with those kind of?
So you're asking like,
sorry if I just completely butchered that question.
No, it's all good. I mean, I think I get what you're saying. I just want to clarify. Like, are you saying, do those videos like drive conversations that I'm having? Are those videos like driving the response to a certain video driving future videos that I do? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just couldn't figure out. I couldn't think of the best way to words.
No, it's all good. It's all good. It's tough, man. Mostly I just kind of make what I feel like making. I'm not I don't really make a bunch of it just because I'm not really getting like, you know, my videos have resonated with people. People have said, I really liked what you talked about here. This was great, so on and so forth. But that's honestly, I hate to keep coming back to this. That's one of the reasons why I'm like thinking about a direction change. Is it's like I'm consistently getting kind of the same kind of group coming back, and they're watching, and you know the subscriber number is going up, but the growth, like the week over week of the, you know, it's not really growing exponentially. It's drifting up there. But so the only reason I bring this up is it's like I want to get to that point where each, you know, the video drives the next video, and the response that someone has to a video is what inspires me to make the next video. And that's definitely happened a couple times, but it's not like I would love for it to be my goal is for these videos to be a conversation with the audience. I want it to be like, hey, you guys said this and I worked on this thing, or here's a thought that I have, what do you think? And the response is this. Maybe they hate it, maybe they don't like it, or they love it. So yeah, it's like that's what I'd like to get to. But yeah, as of right now, it's just basically kind of doing what it's all about. It's funny you brought up overthinking before, because I was considering changing my instead of searching for meaning in digital awareness, changing it to my mission is to eliminate overthinking, because that's what my videos are all about. It's like, okay, I'm thinking about a certain topic, I want to just talk about it. I want to do a video on it because that's going to help me kind of understand it. So all my videos are about eliminating overthinking.
Mm-hmm.
But from a branding perspective, it's like, I don't know how that works.
Mm-hmm.
So I went all over the place with that answer, but yeah.
I mean, I definitely think they're like the strongest videos on your channel for sure. If you're thinking about going into like some sort of like redirection, like maybe with like a way to rework some of those, do you think it might be beneficial, like maybe like, you know, maybe like have some of those like thought-provoking ones, maybe like have it kind of like cut into a chunk kind of thing, maybe like post it on Twitter, and then maybe like kind of have that be like the lead into like the video kind of thing?
Yeah,
as like,
I mean, maybe I think, I mean, look, I'm definitely not going to stop making the kinds of videos I've been making. Like I do think that there is a style I'm working on. I might change it up, just, you know, particularly so I don't have to film as much, because I don't love filming. But no, it's more just about, it's not necessarily about changing direction. It's more just like focusing in on something. A big topic that I wanted to discuss that I don't feel like I am learned enough on, that I still want to like really understand more, is masculinity and what it means to be a man today. And it's not, trust me, this is not the approach here is not like, oh, we got to reclaim our we got to reclaim what it means to be a man and go back to what it means. Like, that's not what I want to go for at all. It's just like accepting that there is such a thing as toxic masculinity, and how do we like, what's the opposite of that? What is helpful masculinity? What is mindful masculinity? Because I'm someone who is, identify as a man. I'm you can see the beard. I'm pretty masculine. So how can I better the world through what I am? How can I use the tools that I have with my video making? Like, how can I use that to explore this topic? And the difficult thing about it is, I am, like I said, I know I'm not an expert. I know I don't know like a lot about this thing. So how can I talk about this thing without portraying myself as someone who knows it all? Like, that's what I've tried to do with my videos, is I don't want to come off as, it's like, this is, you know what, I'm an expert. Like, I am the, like, the mindfulness guy. I am the self-help person. It's just like, hey, this is something I've tried, and it's like, I really genuinely want to know, what do you think about this? Is this something that works for you? Because, like, it's worked for me, you know? So, yeah.
So just have, like, maybe those specific ones, have those be more, like, asking, like, videos that we were, like, asking, as opposed to, like just going more in depth as to like, some of your other, like, your main, like, experiences, kind of.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love for it to be a blend. Like, it's you know, I feel like I'm not putting it out there really well, but it's like, I would love to you know, figure out a way where I can just put out what I want to put out. Like, what do I feel like making today? I'm gonna make that. And I think that in order to get to that point, you do have to focus in on, like, you know, if something's working, double down on that, triple down on that. I think that's great advice. The problem is, I have a video right now where I figured out how to repurpose an old iPad. I don't know if you've seen that video. And
I was actually going to bring that one up in a little
okay,
bit.
cool.
But...
Perfect. Is it okay if I bring it up now?
Yeah, go for it.
Ready? Okay, cool. Yeah, that's my most viewed video on my channel. Or I guess it's my second most viewed, but it is, like, consistently getting views, and it's consistently pulling in subscribers. Like, I am growing because of that video, basically.
That's awesome.
If I were to follow this advice of, and I'm grateful for it. But if I were to follow this advice of, like, create what is working for you, I would just make iPad videos, you know? Like, I would just figure out, okay, how can I continue to make this sort of, like, this kind of niche, whether it's iPad or whether it's, like, repurposing old tech or something like that. And it's like, that's not what I'm, like, primarily interested in. This is just like, oh, I discovered this thing and this works really well for me. So I happen to make a video about it.
So maybe that was like
why it's. Go ahead.
So maybe that was like a perfect time, perfect place. Like, especially like with the way things are now, you know, people are stuck home and they're just like kind of going through their stuff. Like, hey, I have this old iPad. What can I do with this? And then they look it up, and then your video is like right at the top. And
and that's the thing about, like, you know, why the number one way you grow on YouTube is with timing. It's just about the right thing at the right time. I've had videos that have done poorly, and then just suddenly people were interested in them. Like my other most viewed video on my channel is my electric skateboard video that I put out, like, I don't know, a while ago. And it started out like the first, I would say, maybe month. It was like pretty consistent, and then it just kind of blew up, and it's now my most viewed video. And it's like, I just so happen to make that video, and I'm not. I think there is stuff you can do to kind of like preempt that. I think that you can control it to an extent. You know, you can see what people are talking about and make shit around that. Because like for example, if you were to make a video about, I know people have started making videos, not started, but like since it came out, people have been making videos about Quibi, and it's like, you know, they're gaining traction off of this thing that is in the zeitgeist right now. And if Quibi suddenly goes away tomorrow, or if something crazy happens, it gets bought because there's an acquisition or something, I know from working at this multi-channel network that like all that metadata of like that the people have put in there, whether it's tags or the description or whatever, something's gonna pop, and they're just gonna suddenly, everyone's gonna start seeing this crazy video. Yeah.
So do you think with the, because you had the iPad one, you had the board video. I mean, you have some other product videos, but do you plan on maybe doing more, or do you want to just keep it mostly focused on some of the other stuff?
I think I've learned that I'm not into like product review videos. Like, I think that you know, I've tried doing product review videos, and I guess that's not what you asked. But yeah, like talking about more products, like, you know, like I mentioned, I don't really want to make more iPad videos. I don't really want to do more boosted board videos. I don't even have that I mean, my friend has that skateboard, but it's not in my possession anymore. I don't really use it. It's more the things that I do like, and what's something in the same vein is something like the cake pan light video that I put out a little while ago. Like, I do like kind of, I wouldn't say that I'm a very like tech savvy, really like good with wiring and really good with, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm very, very like dumbed down. Like, I'm not a programmer. I'm not good at like kind of figuring out how machines work and stuff like that. I like finding out kind of the in-between way of, it's like, okay, I'm not a beginner, but I'm not like really smart with this. So that's why I like the iPad thing is you don't have to hack your iPad. You don't have to jailbreak your iPad even to do this thing. It's a very specific thing, and it's like, okay, you need this program and you need to buy this thing, and then you're good to go. The cake pan light video, it's like you don't need to solder anything. You don't need to, like, you know, you don't need to, I don't think you even need to attach anything. I think the only thing you need to do is like tape the diffusion on there. So if I could make more videos like that, where I'm like kind of making things, but not like I still don't know the word for it. Like building them from scratch, whatever.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. But I don't know. It's like I only have so many ideas about that niche. If you know what I mean.
I actually wanted to bring up the cake pan video, that, or just like your tutorial videos that you have been doing in general. Like I love that one because I mean with my setup, I have a DIY light. It's basically just like this really bright like desk like LED lamp that I basically like have like had to do like my own like dimming for it and stuff. So like
the something like that.
Yeah. And I also loved the your like photographing apparel video, because
cool.
So part of my job now, like I have to I mean, I don't, luckily like we get all the product images and stuff, but like from like my first job, like we have basically like had like scenarios where we like had to like where if they didn't have like the specific product, like we'd have to like have it shot and stuff, and then I'd have to go in and like clean it out. And yeah, that's basically like what I'm still doing now, where like we'll get the images, and then I gotta background removal, gotta clean up around the edge, gotta prepare them, gotta and like one of the things I do grid files, gotta set like this like little invisible box, so like when you logo uploads, then it like looks proportional. And but it's still cool, like the, you know, because that was like the one I was like, holy shit, like I kind of like have like gone through this process for a little bit, so it was like kind of cool to see like your approach to it compared to like what I had to do, like when I had to like set up some of that stuff. So but yeah, but do you so do you think you might do like more of those like DIY like kind of stuff too? Because I think like, yeah, I absolutely love like those too, like as like a side, like, you know, that could be like your every other week kind of thing, like compared to like your main topic video, you know, like the or like the heavier topic you want to touch on kind of thing. Like I don't know, I just love like you having like that kind of like variety to the channel too. So
well, yeah, I mean, look, I say like, oh, in order to grow, I need to do a bunch of niche stuff and like focus in on something. Like, that's not to say necessarily that I'm going to go that route. That's just what I've been thinking about.
Right.
So I think that like the videos, like, I do enjoy the tutorial videos. I do love teaching things. The barrier for me is it's like, I don't like there are certain channels that I will see sometimes, or videos I will see, and it's like, I don't really buy that you know how to do this thing and you're teaching this. It seems like you are like kind of regurgitating just info that you saw somewhere. And yeah, so it's like if I'm gonna teach something, if I'm gonna like do a DIY thing, it's like that's why I liked phrasing the I think it was a cake pan video. It was like, hey, I'm gonna try this thing. Like I saw Daniel Schiffer made this. Like I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna see if this works out. It was more of like an experiment than it was, this is how you do this thing. And that's the same thing. Like that was the whole approach with the product videos that I did as well.
Cool, man. I mean, and on top of like some of those ones, like I loved like some of your other like, I guess I kind of put them under like quality of life, like improvement videos, or just kind of like other sort of like help videos. But like you put out videos about like overcoming like writer's block, or overcoming envy kind of thing. And I think you just have like a lot of like really great advice with those, like especially like the envy video where you talk about like we're constantly like watching content, we're constantly like checking out other stuff, and you might be like thinking, how can I be doing better, like how come my thing isn't like how come my channel isn't like doing like, it's so easy to like get into that mindset, but no, but you just like make like good points in there, just like you just gotta keep at it. You just gotta you're your own worst critic,
I mean, it sounds like this is one of the great things about, I feel like, while it is like mostly an ego thing, talking about your own work with other people, like I feel like you just mentioning like you took that away from what I said. It's like I'm realizing like, I guess I did have a good point there. I should listen to that advice. Yeah, so that's, I mean, I'm really glad that you had that takeaway, because it's like in a weird, that's what I mean about like why I want it to be a conversation. And because I feel like some of these times, like I said, it's most of these videos are just me exploring an idea and trying to figure out something that I'm thinking about. It's just it's really is that's what I'm trying to do. Yeah, I'm trying to live off of YouTube. I'm trying to make a living for myself here. I think that's the two opposing forces that are driving against each other. It's like, what can I do that will fulfill my id, like my need, my drive, what drives me, and then what can I also do to help that turn into something that can provide for me. It's It's weird, man. It's weird. I've had this conversation a lot about with my aunt, actually, the production designer aunt, about because she's also a writer, and she's also that's what she does. The production designing is just paying for the writing career, basically.
Yeah.
And we've had a lot of conversations about, it's like, why do we create? Why do we do this thing? Like, who is this serving? How am I bettering the world by putting this masturbatory thing out there? And fortunately, I've been able to, like, what she's always convinced me is, it's like, that's just what you do. It's just what you need to do. Like, that's, we talked a lot about, why am I doing this thing when there's such terrible things that are going on in the world right now? Whether it's systemic racism, whether it's a pandemic, whether it's what have you that's going on right now. Why are we doing this, this interview right now, like, when we could be doing something that is, quote, beneficial to the world? It's like, I don't think we're talking about that. The thing that she talks that she talked me off the ledge with, is that look at the darkest periods of history and look at the creation that was going on during that. Like, I forget what she said specifically. I think it was Picasso. Like, Picasso was making art during World War II. Like, we're not giving him shit for not selling bonds or fighting in the war or what have you. It's like, it's a little weird, because it's like, you kind of have to understand that I am not Picasso by any means.
Who says you're not
it's like,
Picasso?
Well, thank you very much. I think I'm mostly a finger painter. But yeah, just kind of understanding that it's like, the world does need art, as difficult as it is to understand. Like, yes, don't be a complete selfish asshole and only worry about your art. By no means am I suggesting doing that. But don't feel bad about being an artist.
It's also like a matter of, like, for you specifically too, because you're, it's awesome that you're putting out all, like, the content you want to put out, but I'm sure, like, and then in the back of your mind too, just trying to, like, meet that, like, YouTube algorithm, or just trying to go against that, to just try to, in order to get your video viewed, to get the the audience to check it out, kind of thing. So where have you found that, like, that sort of balance, or are you just kind of, like, still just trying your own thing for now before, like, because I know, like there's some other channels that I watch that have talked about this, like this is one I watched, the punk rock MBA. This dude,
MBA, like Masters of Business Association, or basketball. Okay.
And he basically like he reviews he'll talk about random bands. Like, he has a lot of, like, really great videos, but
right,
like, he'll do, like, some like documentary style, do some but he does some, like, people hate these bands kind of video, and here's why, kind of. And he admits, like, he doesn't like doing those videos, but because they perform the best on his channel, he's kind of, like, forced to. So I don't know if, like, that's, like, kind of, like, something, like, in your head too, like, if something performed, but, like, if something performed to a certain extent, then you would kind of, like, lean more towards that, like, with what you want to do.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm trying to not just repeat things that I've said, because I feel like my advice is very, very similar with a lot of different things. But yes, if something were to pop off, like, for example, if one of those product videography videos popped off and people really like that, be like, yeah, this was fun and people really like this, so, like, I'm gonna do that. The other end of the spectrum is something like the iPad video. Like, I'm not gonna do a bunch of iPad videos just because it's like, that was just a one-time thing that I kind of did. If I find something similar like that, that's, like, I want to do, then yeah, I'll do it. Interestingly enough, when I first put out the boosted board video, I did try and make more boosted board videos. The thing that I found is, it's like, I can only make so many videos about one skateboard. I did think about, like, okay, should I now buy a different electric skateboard? Should I like really invest? And that's what
Comparison.
Those are things are. Yeah, compare different videos. Like I could have easily gone down that direction, and I think if I had, I definitely would have seen growth like that. Like I would be farther along subscriber and views wise right now than I currently am. So no, but yes to your question. I think that you know, it's gonna have to be. I think that the best thing that I could do is if something pops off where it's like, and it's in a category that I can replicate, that I enjoy doing. Like if one of my self-help videos popped off, and that's like a category, I can easily make plenty of self-help videos. Like this is how you meditate, this is how you journal, or this is how I journal, this is how I meditate, this is how I do yoga in the morning or whatever. You know, there's something there, but it really depends on, you know, it's that thing. It's like what pops off, like, and what I enjoy doing. So yeah.
Cool. And one thing you mentioned in, I think it was like I'm pretty sure you mentioned it in your like year later on YouTube video, like of being full time on YouTube. You were giving some advice in there, and one of the things you mentioned was how you really shouldn't let like views or subs like be like your main focus, which is like basically been like my approach with like my channel in general too. Like I'm like,
you've got it down, man.
I don't know, because whenever I'm streaming, I just turn off that number. Like I'm just like I don't even like obviously, and you mentioned in your video too, like you obviously want to grow, but yeah, it's just because then you just again you'll just like overthink what you're doing, what you're not doing right. Like you just, you know, just what you want to just, you know, be able to put out stuff that, or you know, put out your stuff that you really enjoy doing. And I mean, in my case, because this is only like, you know, a part-time thing, so numbers like aren't necessarily like as crucial to me compared to you where you're full-time, but it's still a great, you know, it's still a great piece of advice though, for sure. Like, because the worst thing you can be is just like, yeah, overly critical of like everything you're doing. So, and
well, I should clarify though. I wouldn't call myself a full-time content creator. Like 20 hours a week, I am working with with Profitwell, like doing paid video work.
Right.
But yes, I do spend. Yeah, I just wanted to make that clear.
Yeah.
Sorry. No, but I think that the important part of that piece of advice though is that don't focus on this. However, you're gonna focus on this. Like I'm focused on it. You know, like I know that the you know what's better for my mental wellness is if I don't consistently look at my subscriber number. But I'll be completely transparent with you, and I'll completely be honest with the audience that's watching right now. I've been refreshing my YouTube channel, seeing people from this stream subscribe and see that number go up. Like, by the way, thank you to all of you doing that. I've also been, you know, I have the stream open. I see the live viewers right there, and it's like, it's so hard to not look at those things and to not focus on those things. Thank you for the plug. But
follow Soccer Stuff YouTube. Go there now.
You know, I hope you enjoy it. But you know, I think that you do have to be a little bit shameless in that sense of, you know, I think I could do better swinging more towards your direction, of doing it because you enjoy it, not because of the growth. But it is like, you know, being a content creator is an option. It's something that is possible. I'm not saying it is easy. I'm not saying that you're going to get there when you want to get there, but it's something that's possible. And there's certain best practices you can use to like get there. And so because of that, I am a little sensitive to the numbers. Like, even though I say, you know, don't focus on the numbers, my advice is just don't let that be the only thing that's driving you.
Right.
Don't let it just be the number that's driving you.
Exactly.
So yeah.
So out of all the stuff you've been putting out so far, is there one in particular that's your favorite over like everything else?
Let me look back on it. I mean, I'm trying to not be. I'm not cagey about this. The numbers, Slacker. What do they mean? They mean not everything. Some stuff. I really like the how to work from home video. That was that honestly, that string of videos, the multitasking, how to work from home, quality quantity. That was my first attempt at batching content together. I wasn't super successful because what ended up happening was I filmed them all, and then I launched that first one, and then I basically ended up taking a week to edit the next one and then putting it out, and then taking a week to edit the next one. So like, it turned out to be not really super successful. But that was a really fun string of like, I was just vibing, I was just gelling, and that came right after I took like I think a 3-month break right when the pandemic started, and then I posted that in June, and or was it July? It's June. Okay. Yeah, but I love the thing I had a lot of fun with was the quality versus quantity one. That little animated thing that I did. I had a conversation with my sister about this idea, and she brought up the parable of the pottery class, and I was like, I can like, that's my favorite kind of content, is when I can visualize exactly, like I can visualize something that doesn't exist yet. That's like the thing that always pushes me. When I can see something before it's out there is when I'm the most passionate about something. That's something I'm struggling with right now. Is it's like I kind of lost that edge, and I lost the when I wrote these 4 videos, when I was working on them, I was like, I can't really, I here they are, but that original goal is gone. So yeah, the quantity versus quality one, quality versus quantity, is probably one of my most recent favorite ones. So yeah.
No, I agree with you on how, yeah, you'll get that vision, and then like that will end up being like your, like you'll feel like super strong about that. I'm like that with because I'm a graphic designer. I do a lot of logo design specifically. So like that's like, so that's when I feel like that's like my, some of my favorite work is like, I'll have a friend that like has their idea, and then like I'll be thinking about it in my head. I'm like, all right, I can do this. Oh, I can do this. And then like, and then I just go right into it, and then it's good. But then you'll have a client that like has like no clear idea, and then you're just kind of like trying to, as opposed to like where I had like that specific, that specific like fiery idea at the start, but. Yeah, that's awesome. That like that was like the same case like with you for like some of those.
That's I too would like to see your portfolio as I can't read that. Loridian said. Yeah, because I was gonna ask actually. You do graphic design for, that's your full-time job, right? And I know this is like, streaming is a personal thing that you do. It's not necessarily like what you're making income off of. 2-part question. One, are there like graphic design projects you do for fun? Well, I guess you design this.
Yeah. Basically, all the assets for the channel I've done. I mean, I do freelance on the side too. I will. I honestly like don't go out of my way to like look for work. I'll usually have like friends or associates of friends that will like come and like email me or message me or something, and then I'll work with them that way. But my portfolio is like so like out of date. Like I haven't updated that thing in forever, so I'm like kind of like reluctant to like share that because I have like a lot better stuff. But my I guess because like since I've like started doing the channel and everything, I've definitely, I don't know, I haven't really put in as much time as I want to do like more fun design stuff. I think like my most fun like most fun stuff I've done was like, because I've done a lot of stuff for like Lame Genie, and like I've done
Right.
a lot of cool designs for them. So like, I guess those were like some of my most like recent ones that I just had a blast. Like I just had like an idea. Like I was just like, oh, I wonder. Like I want to see them as like the Four Swords Zelda characters, you know. And then I just kind of went with it, and and it came out awesome, I thought. But yeah, so yeah.
Yeah. The two-part question. I guess it's not really a question, but it's like, you know, how does that feel different? The paid work versus the like creative work. Is there a way that you can relate the two, or is it like a completely different world for you?
I mean, with the like comparing freelance to like the or just like my main like 9 to 5
Just
job compared to
being paid for something versus creating something for fun.
so
So it can be freelance or it can be,
yeah. I guess like, you know, with when it's something like you're just like doing for fun on the side, that's like probably when you have like the most passion with it, because like, you know, you're doing something you want to do kind of thing. Like you get that idea and then you have the itch and you want to go with it. But like, but with freelance, like, I mean, you can have fun with that too, but you know, you might not, like, kind of like I was saying, like you might not have like that specific like idea like right away kind of thing, and you just kind of like work towards where exactly you want to go with it. But yeah, I don't know if that answered it or
yeah. No, that's like kind of, I guess what I was getting at was it was somewhat of a selfish question, because it was like, for me, that was one of the reasons that I decided to go and make this life change, and you know, a year ago, dedicate this time. Is I a year ago, where was it? I'm trying to find the video. I started putting out videos again after a break a little bit, like February, March last year. April, that's it. April 15th. The analysis paralysis video. It was like, what I would do is I would wake up at 5 a.m., work on videos, and then go to work after that. And the epiphany for me was, it's like, this is a thing that I'm willing to wake up at 5 a.m. to work on, and I'm feeling so much like joy and benefit from these 3 hours before I go to work. I want that. Like, I want more of that. I want that, like, you know, that drug or whatever, that feeling. And so, yeah, I was just like, I was wondering how you differed and this was something that's like, you know, I wasn't being paid for. I wasn't doing it for the views at the time. I was just doing it because I was like, oh, this would be fun. So yeah, I was just wondering if that, how,
yeah, I mean, yeah, you definitely, like, you know, like I said, you when it's stuff like you like, you get that itch, you get that idea, you want to jump in on that, you want to like see what you can come up with, you want to, you know, and you have a lot of fun doing it, and yeah, so yeah, I definitely I definitely feel you with that. So so do you have like any do you have any specific goals like planned for the channel like coming up, or do you a general like or general like direction or specific like direction you want to go like going forward, or just kind of like keep playing it out as you're going now, or what's down the pipeline?
Yeah, so I mean, as far as numbers wise, like, it would be an absolute win to me if I could get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. That's just like a, you know, since I was a kid, that's like a pie in the sky. Like, I've always wanted to get that channel, like, you know, that comma, for whatever reason. You know, it might very well could get there, and it, you know, I'm sure I'm gonna get there, and it's not gonna feel as like amazing as it turned out to be or whatever. But yeah, I'd love to do that. Just because I feel like that would give me at least a confirmation that it's like I was able to grow to this number that I had in mind. content wise, I would like to, I'd like to do more of the self-help type videos that you're describing that you really enjoy. Like I'd like to continue to do those, and I will do more of those in the future. There's just an itch I got to scratch right now with this masculinity project that I'm thinking about. There's a name for it that I don't really want to say on this podcast. Not that anyone's gonna steal. I just, I guess it's more of a superstition thing. But I came up with it a while ago. That like, I really want to focus on like mindful masculinity. And I thought of this when you were talking about what's his name, Punk Rock MBA. I've always been fascinated with these like sort of commentary channels, and I don't want to necessarily become a commentary channel myself. I think that the danger with that is there's a lot of videos that are just put out. It's like let's shit on this thing because it's bad, and it's like I want a little more depth than that. I think there are people that do that and do it well, but I think if I were to do it, it would just be I don't want to shit on something just to shit on something.
Yeah.
And so there's a specific video that I want to make about have you seen those Dr. Squatch soap commercials?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
It's like a guy. It starts with there's a guy and he's like, hey, you use soap, like your soap sucks, like, and it's just like he's basically saying like, fuck you for using soap, like use our soap.
That's like
our
your opinion, man.
Yeah, exactly. It just rubs me the wrong, and it's just put out there so much, and I've seen it a bunch.
The soap rubs you the wrong way.
I know at least. Yeah, exactly. And there's a creator that did put out a commentary on that called Swell Entertainment on YouTube. I'm just plugging things right here. I don't know this person, but she talked about it briefly in it. But I would love to have a conversation around like, yeah, see, Danger Darren knows what I'm talking about. I'd love to have a conversation around like being so aggressive with like just the idea that if you're gonna sell something to men, that it has to be like aggressive and like in your face, and like you need like you're not a man if you don't get this thing.
Yeah.
And like, contrast that to, I don't think they've hit this mark with all of their commercials, but you look at something like the Old Spice, the original, I think it's Isaiah Musava. Look at your man, now back to me. Like, yeah. That one, it's like the same vibe of like, if you don't have this, like, you're not a man, that kind of thing. But it's like kind of poking fun at itself in a sense, in my mind. And so I would love to, and I'm glad to see that Danger Darren shares my distaste with this commercial. Yes, it is. I watched it though. I did watch it in its entirety. I guess I'm talking directly to you, Danger Darren, now. D-Cobbs, you can just chill out.
All right, I'm kidding. No, I'm pretty sure. I think I saw it too. I just I don't know.
I'll send it to you. It's you might have seen it. It's been everywhere.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. It's like I want to have like I said, I don't want to just shit on something to shit on something. It's like there are certain notes that they hit in that commercial that are like not toxically masculine. It's not just like it's basically it's not a Barstool article. It's not a Barstool commercial. But yeah, like I'd love to explore that and see if that leads anywhere. And to what you said before, like, is there, if something popped off, like, would you like commit to that thing? It's like if this kind of thing like found success, it's like I feel like that's this weird blend of like I can create, like I can use my talents, my artistry to work on this thing, and it's also like successful, and it's also something where I think I can like actually promote a positive message to the world and like, better the world in a sense. So
Darren said the commercial needs to be dumped on.
Exactly.
So what's going on? What's going on, McFarlane? What's going on, Loridian? Darren, I don't know if I said hi to you anyway, but appreciate all you guys coming in. Cosmicordia, all the friends coming to hang out.
You guys are
appreciate
awesome.
you.
Yeah, happy to see the folks popping off.
Hell yeah. Real good turnout tonight. And again, thank you so much for jumping in for this chat, man.
Hell yeah, dude. I'm happy to.
So I guess
this room. So.
So I guess one last thing in regarding to YouTube before I move on to my last main topic. But do you have any specific advice you want to give to anyone that's like maybe looking to get into content creating or looking to improve their what they're doing with their content creating?
Reps and sets. I'm gonna harp on it. I've been talking about it, I feel like, all night, but it's like, if you want to get better at something, you got to continue to do it. And then I would say, actually, the one thing I haven't talked about is I think that there is a lot of fear around getting feedback on something. I think that, especially with YouTube, I've been fortunate that I feel like I don't have many toxic comments on my channel.
Mm-hmm.
But when a video like that iPad video pops off, people are going to be shitty, so there's this fear, like there's an assumption that feedback and a hater is like one and the same. So my advice is, if you want to grow and if you want to get better at something, you need to put things out there and you need to listen to feedback and listen to certain things with a critical eye.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean and getting feedback does not mean you have to implement that feedback. I'm sure as a graphic designer that there's going to be some non-negotiables that you use the wrong font or you use the wrong color palette or something like that. Like something is wrong, or the client, this is a non-negotiable. We need this to be fixed. But I think that that's my advice, is just don't be afraid of getting feedback. Mm-hmm. Remember that especially if it's someone you trust, and someone that can be honest with you too. Like, I feel like I've needed folks, and I haven't gotten this as much with my YouTube channel, but with my professional work, I've really benefited from honesty, even if it hurts sometimes. There was a project that I worked on at my last job that I got really harsh feedback on it, and I wish it had been handled differently. Mm-hmm. But I know that project wouldn't have turned out as good as it did if I didn't receive that feedback.
Yeah.
Basically, if my bad habits are perpetuated. So yeah, feedback.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. Exactly. It definitely helps in any aspect. Yeah. Awesome, man. So I guess one last thing, because I mean you don't do it too often, but how I discovered you was through Twitch in general. I don't know if you're planning on maybe doing more of that too, or you're just kind of out of the cards, just don't really have the time, or just I don't know. What have you been thinking with this platform?
Well, what I have tried, and there's still a little bit of a drive that I want to do. There was a point where I wanted to build off of, kind of be like a spin-off to Ed Camper's Cabin, and I wanted it to be Slacker's Garage or something and I built a whole set. I'll show you. I built this whole virtual set, and I had transitions and stuff. I had a garage door for the opening and stuff, and it's still I really like the aesthetic I was going for. Mm-hmm. Oh, Nerdy Jane, definitely. I don't think she's in the chat anymore, but she was there because I did this incentive thing where if you followed, you would get.
I think I got a guitar in there actually.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, you were there.
And I think she had a bear or her logo or something. Yeah. I can't remember which one.
We'll stop there.
Yep.
Because what was fun about that is that I purposefully have a very tight shot on myself right now because my room is a mess. I've got shit all over the place. I try not to hoard things, but I've got a lot of knickknacks. And so that was kind of spiritually the first 50 people all get a knickknack that's gonna be part of the set.
Yeah.
So I'd like to try that. It's tough. I mean, my voice hurts right now. I know I've been talking a lot of this. It's definitely tough to keep up that energy.
Yeah.
I'd like to, maybe once a week or something. And then
That'd be cool.
there's a competition thing that I have started doing, Bit Bracket, where I started this in March with one of my friends, where like it's just about like I found. So one thing that I haven't mentioned that I love is I love spreadsheets. I don't know why. I just love like organizing things, and I'm in a fantasy baseball league, and I have this like algorithm thing that I made to like determine should I pick up a player or not. It's very, very nerdy. And we have we created this podcast / competition type thing where it's like we're gonna figure out what's the best what was it, actor under 35 was like the first thing that we did, because this was like my film kids group from Emerson.
Yeah.
So we like did a whole bracket. We came up with 64 different actors under 35 and went head to head, and I did like a Google Forms thing. It's all done through like there's an email subscription thing that you like can get it sent to your inbox, that whole thing. Long story long. I'd like to we do a podcast component with it where it's like we break down like, here's the seeds, here's the first seed, going against this one, what do you think about this matchup? I'd like to, instead of doing a podcast that we send out once a week, I would love for that to be a stream that we do like on Sundays and Wednesdays, like basically at the end of each one, just to incentivize, because right now people are doing the bracket, but we're not really getting a lot of like, it's kind of like the podcast and the bracket are separate things that are somewhat related.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like it would be really fun to like, announce the winner on the stream and, say, this is our next bracket. These are our 64, kind of like a selection Sunday type deal. So yes, long answer. I'd like to do more Twitch stuff.
So this little podcasting will be on your channel specifically?
I think it'd probably be its own Twitch
channel.
Its own channel.
I'll shout out your channel anyway, just in case you decide to go on that one.
What I'll probably do is I'll probably host it and stream from that.
There you go.
But yeah, I realized I'm such an old man. I said, "Oh yeah, on my own Twitch." It's like saying on my own YouTube. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. I'm curious to check that out.
Yeah, it's on. I mean, we exist currently. You can find us on Instagram, BitBracket, BitBracket Pod, or something like that. If you look up BitBracket on Twitter or Instagram, you should find us. Let me just double check and make sure that's true. Well, of course I'm gonna find myself. Yeah. If you just search it on Twitter, you'll find us. Very silly.
Cool. So everyone should go check out BitBracket.
Yeah, Walking Dead fan Slacker stuff is my personal Twitch that I rarely use. ST Stacker stuff.
I botched.
Oh, okay. I see.
There we go.
I see.
There you go. That fixes it. Yeah, because you're playing some Sims on your channel. or simulated games.
City
I meant.
Skylines,
Yeah.
City Skylines is my hourly on Steam with that is absurd. I think I looked at it the other day, and it's like, it's probably a week cumulative.
So you've
269 hours.
Damn, dude. I've never really gotten into like sim games of like any capacity, but that's mostly like what you grew up with, like a lot of those, or what other games did you grow up with?
Yeah, I mean, I'm big on world building stuff. My first console was a GameCube.
Mm-hmm.
I just missed the N64 bubble. I wanted an N64, but my cousin had one, so I used that one. But yeah, like Sims was a like really early thing that I got into. I got into Minecraft pretty early on. Minecraft came out when I was in high school. I don't know if I'm dating you or not.
A little bit, yeah.
Okay, good. But yeah, but I'm talking like because I got in on Minecraft pretty early. It was in beta, I think.
Because what year was that? 2010?
Yeah, 2010, I think.
Crazy.
That's when I started playing it. When I was in high school.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I like making things. I guess I like the pre-built structure. Or when I talk about how I'm not a programmer, I'm not necessarily a master carpenter, but I'll put together your IKEA set. Like that sounds great to me. Legos, I love Legos. That's fun because you can just you have instructions and it's very mindless. The thing you can do. So yeah,
that's awesome. I was always more. To date me a little bit, but because I grew up with NES, then Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
Super Nintendo's my favorite console of all time. Just between the Donkey Kong Country games, the Mario games, obviously, NBA Jam, just.
Dude, at Coach Up, so like I said, not great with money. For a Christmas party, for our last Christmas party, they went balls out, and they ended up renting a NBA Jam console, and they decided they were just going to keep it.
That's awesome.
So we had an NBA Jam console,
arcade machine
cabinet.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
that's what I was cabinet, the arcade cabinet. Yeah, that's sick.
Dude, I'm not to brag, but I am at a point of skill in that game where friends just won't play with me.
Oh yeah.
Unless they're on my team. That's the only.
I wasn't any good. I wasn't any good at all.
Dude, what Andrew says, don't play. It's not even fun. I know you get you. I don't know. I mean, there is a skill to it because then you get a liking to certain teams, and once you get on fire, then if you're on fire, then you're just untouchable because then you can just block every shot without repercussion or anything. There's no goaltending, and it's just that's basically what breaks the game.
Yep.
Essentially, and then
you sound like so my friends that I grew up with, a couple of them got really into Super Smash. And I was on the receiving end of what you had, where my friends were really fucking good at it. So whenever I went to their house, it's just I don't want to play. This isn't fun. I'm just gonna suck, and you guys are way better than me.
Yep.
So I consequently didn't really get into Smash, and I have a bunch of friends that are really into Smash and are really good at Smash. So yeah, that's I unfortunately I had it and I played it, I know it, but just didn't get into it a whole bunch because ruined by my friends who were really good.
Yep. I worked with my former supervisor, and then another dude I worked with. They were straight up top 5 in the state. That's how. And so I legit couldn't even play against them. So I feel you on that.
Yeah, Pat Camp the Boy was, I think, ranked in New Hampshire a little while ago. He's very good. I play Warzone with him a lot. He's very good at Warzone too.
That's awesome. I was actually going to ask what you're currently playing too, or if there's anything aside from what you're playing now, if there's anything coming out soon that you're looking forward to.
Yeah, so Wind Waker is my favorite video game of all time. It's gorgeous.
Fantastic.
And it is. I know it's a weird thing to say about that animation style, but I love Wind Waker. And I've yet to. I have spurts where I play Breath of the Wild.
Mm-hmm.
And so I haven't finished it yet. Unfortunately, I'm like so late to the party, but I am excited for the sequel for that. It's like I love playing it, but it's like it's one of those things where it's like I think that's one of the things I struggle with these big AAA titles that come out is like if it's not like a multiplayer game and it's a single player, it's like I'm immersed in that thing for a long time. Like I was playing like I love Fallout 2 and Fallout 4 I played for so long, and then like I just get like immersed in one game and I get kind of stuck with one thing like that. So yeah, I'm hopeful that like it's beyond me. There are so many games that I would repurchase from Nintendo if they just made it backwards compatible with Switch. Like I don't understand why they don't like. That's such a huge money opportunity for them. I feel like I know this is not new information. Like this is not a new take.
They don't like money, man.
I guess not, because like I would buy so many of those games. Yeah.
I feel like for the older ones,
I'm missing the boat right now on Fall Guys. Because I don't have a PC and I don't have a PS4, so I can't play Fall Guys. I really want to play it so bad.
I haven't played it yet either. I have it on PS4. I just because a lot of my friends they play on PC and it's not cross-platform yet. So,
right.
But I mean, I still have a lot of friends on here that do have PS4, and so I can play with them. I just whenever I have free time, I'm literally just like hanging out in like friends' channels, and I'm like, I don't know.
I feel you. I mean, I heard that game just blew up, and they didn't really expect it to. So like things that people wanted to have as far as cross compatibility and still only bad ones. I could be completely wrong about that. That's just what I heard.
Yeah, I think they said it's in the works, so
right.
Who knows how long that'll take, but. And you mentioned that Wind Waker is your favorite game of all time. What is it about that game that really resonates with you, outside of like the art style and
nostalgia, for me for sure. It came out. I mean, I was very young when it came out, but my cousin had it, and so I only saw it whenever I would go to his place. And he got it like it was this weird like scenario where it's like he got it for his birthday. And we went to a place called GameWorks. Do they have GameWorks in England?
No.
It's a Dave & Buster's, but it's less restaurant, more video game. And so we were going there, but we were in his car. And his mom's car had like one of those fold-down DVD players that you could plug in and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So we were playing. I was watching him play this game on the way there, and it was that first I can't remember the name of the island, fortress. The
no, I was gonna say
you're gonna say Delfino. Or
was
yeah, I heard that.
What is it? Roost? No, not Roost. I'm blanking right now. I'm not as familiar with Wind Waker as I am
Forsaken
with,
Fortress.
That's it.
Forsaken Fortress. He was stuck on that level, and then like so, but it was years until I had my own copy of it. And so once I finally got it, like I hadn't seen the rest of it, and I actually didn't beat the game until last year.
Oh wow!
Because like I kept. It was one of those things where it's like I would like spend a bunch of time on it, and then I would get interested in something else and I would lose interest or whatever. And then when I came back to it, I wanted to restart it because it's like, oh, I don't remember where I was. I'm going to figure it out again.
Yeah.
So like it was that cycle where I was finally like, I just got to play it right now. So it took me a long time, but like I wouldn't say it was because of my ability necessarily. It was just like I loved like just getting immersed in it, and I loved kind of starting over, and I was kind of savoring the end a little bit.
Did you play the HD version on Wii U, or are you talking the GameCube version? Wii U?
Yeah, one of my roommates had it in college, so I played on the Wii U, and that's why it's like they have an HD version.
Yeah.
Just I would have bought it if I had a Wii U. I'd buy it on the Switch too. Like, come on.
Well, here's the thing. So, this year is 35th anniversary of Mario, and there's that rumored like 64 Sunshine Galaxy games bundle thing that they're thinking of. It's rumored that they're going to release that. Next year is Zelda's 35th anniversary, and there's already like things online. What is it? Not copyright, but like
Leaks.
Leak stuff of like Ocarina of Time, Skyward Sword, and so you can only imagine that like they're probably going to bundle like the Ocarina, the Majora remake together. Like those probably are going to get up-res for the Switch from the 3DS version, and then then you'll just get those HD ports from the Wii U. Probably just get those straight up ported to the Switch. It's like, why wouldn't you do that? Like that's like easy money. Easy money. Maybe at this point, like they're just thinking like, we're just gonna make it a celebration. That's why we're gonna release them all together. But it's like,
they are releasing some. I know I saw this recently that it's like it's not the Switch Pro, but they're like releasing like an upgraded Switch, right? Kind of thing next year or something.
And that's why I haven't bought a Switch yet, because I'm like, there's this rumor every year that there's gonna be a Switch Pro. This is gonna be the year where we get it, right? It's either that or it's like I'm just gonna wait till like a Black Friday sale for like a bundle or something, because like there are. I mean,
I would wait for the upgraded system because the Joy-Cons are shit and the screen. I mean, my screen is already fucked. Like, I play it on my TV mostly, but the
tablet
screen, it's so fragile.
Yeah.
Tablets.
Yeah, the games I'm looking forward to most of that, because like I played Breath of the Wild on Wii U, so Breath of the Wild 2, looking forward to trying that, and then No More Heroes 3. I don't know if you played 1 and 2
Wait, they
on
had
Wii.
Breath of the Wild on Wii U?
Yeah. it was the last last first party game they put out on there.
Damn.
And that was literally the only reason why I didn't get a Switch at launch, because that game was on there, and I was like, all right, well, I don't need to buy a new system yet. It was kind of weird because like you couldn't play the game. You could only play it either on the tablet or on the like kind of like the Switch. Like you figure like on the Wii U, like you'd have like a inventory thing or something, but yeah, you were just kind of like locked to that, and that was it. So that was interesting, but. And then I guess one more question before we wrap up here. Are there any games you played that like have like that you've had like a connection with that like have like connected with you with a lot of the stuff that you like to talk about in your videos?
I know people always say like that's a good question, but that is a good question. Yeah. I don't know. I think that I don't think so. I mean, like I said, I like doing world building games, and I wouldn't say that like my videos are about world building or whatever. I guess if you want to like do a weird connection, my goal. I would love if folks could build their own world themselves, learning through what they learned from my videos. There isn't a game specifically that I can think of that like, oh yeah, that's like just like what I do with my videos. But that part of my personality, the part that enjoys creating and building things and just doing stuff, not doing stuff, but like creating and building, is very, very much what I like to preach to. So yeah, I don't know if I really answered that, but yeah.
Yeah, so if you haven't played it yet, I would highly recommend Celeste. I feel like
because is that with a C?
Yes, it's a bit of a tricky like platformer kind of game, but like the story behind it just like it hit me on like every level, and I feel like it will connect with you too. So
sweet.
Definitely looking at that one.
And that's on all my consoles. That's great.
Yeah. Yeah, man, definitely check that out, and I think that's about all I had for you today. So again, thank you so much for for coming on, for having this conversation with me. Before we wrap up, though, if anyone in the chat has any questions for Ben, feel free to post, and we'll try to get that answered before we wrap up to the close. But yeah, like I said, thank you again so much, man.
No, of course. I'll give, if there are people that want to leave comments, I'll do another little monologue thing for them to get them in there. But thank you for considering me for this. I was mentioning before we went live, like there are so many like processes and like creative process type YouTube channels out there and people talking about it. Like I feel like it just gets boring hearing about it, but it's still really, really helpful to talk about these things. So thank you for considering me for this and having me on. Like I'm truly honored to be your guest. And,
to be the 10th guest on here.
Exactly. Yeah, Ben 10. I love it.
I didn't even put that connection together.
Yeah, man. That was why I did Mondays at 10 a.m. for my posting. It was like, oh yeah, Ben 10. It's easier to remember.
Hell yeah.
The question from Man Bear Pig, biggest challenge on YouTube right now?
I wasn't sure if you felt like you answered this already, but if you want to just go into it again.
Sure. Yeah, I'll try and be quick.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily about there's being a lot of people. Like, I think the assumption is that the platform is saturated. It's definitely like there's a lot of people out there. There's a lot of noise you got to cut through. But I think the challenge is understanding that what you put out there it doesn't necessarily need to be like so unique and so special and so, revolutionary. It's the people that are doing those sort of things, like it's luck and timing, and I think that in order to grow on YouTube, it's a number of different things. But my biggest piece of advice for folks is I know I said the feedback thing before, but it's like, yes, listen to what people are saying and like what advice people have, what has worked before. But I think the biggest challenge is really just being comfortable with creating what you want to create. Even if you've seen like exact same topic talked about, like of course people are going to talk about the same thing. But I think the challenge specifically is really about understanding that you still have something to bring to the table just because you are a different person. Like there's plenty of streamers on Twitch. There's I'm sure there's plenty of interview shows where people talk one-on-one like we're doing right now, but they're not talking about what we're saying, and they're not in our respective bodies, so to speak, talking and thinking about this. So yeah, there's that.
Cool. Any other questions before we bring this to a close? Anybody?
I have a question for you.
For me?
What keeps you going on like in doing this? What do you think like is the biggest thing that you draw from
the channel in general, or like this specific aspect of it?
Well, I think I get what. I mean, you can answer both if you want, but I'm more specifically asking about the channel.
I mean, that's a good question. Like, it's fun to do. Like, I mean, that's the main part of it. Like, I wouldn't be doing it if I wasn't having fun with it. It's good. It's a great way just to, keep up with a lot of folks. Just to have conversations with a lot of my friends that like don't, a lot of these friends, like they live like in other states or other countries, and it's awesome just like meeting folks who are there, and meeting other streamers, and because you're building your community, but they come in, but then you're building their community, and it's just like a whole big like circle of like we're all in this together and we're helping each other, and I really love that aspect of it. With the stuff that I'm doing, like, because I'm constantly like, I mean, this year was like a big thing for me where I really wanted to like change stuff up. Like this talk show was or this interview format thing that I started doing. This was a goal of mine for this year, like just something different I wanted to try, something, I don't know, see if folks might be interested in it kind of thing. And but at the same time I want to do this anyway, just because like I have a lot of like creative friends that, you know, put out a lot of great content, and I want to, you know, give my appreciation to them just by having these conversations with them, you know. And yeah, these have just been an absolute blast, and because I told you earlier too, like I, you know, having like, especially like a lot of like having like a lot of the content creators on, like with the variety of folks, or the variety of their backgrounds and stuff, that you know, it's nice having so it's not just like streamer, but like having an artist one week, and having, you know, having you, a YouTuber, on one week, having my buddy who's a musician next week, kind of thing. So it's, I don't know, it's something to look forward to, like in my free time, and it's, you know, and it's just, like I said, it's just fun to hang out with everybody. And yeah, Darren, I'll get you that next time. Remind me on Sunday. I'll set that up.
I mean, I feel like, just last little thing here is, I feel like the thing that separates Twitch from a content platform like YouTube or wherever, Instagram, Twitter, whatever, it so fosters like collaboration with other, like it encourages that, whether it's rating a different channel, just interacting with people live like that. I feel like that is super special about Twitch. I wish YouTube had. I mean, you used to be able to respond to, like, do a video response on YouTube. They got away with that. So like, it's really cool to see that you get that like kind of flow, that interaction with people. Very collaborative. Cool.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And yeah, I guess we'll wrap that up here. And yeah, like I said, once again, thank you again so much. And if you want to just plug all your stuff, where can everyone find you on social media? And of course your YouTube channel, I posted the link there. But where else can we find you on the internets?
Yeah, so actually, that's not my YouTube channel.
It linked
No,
to
wait,
it.
it is.
Yeah, because
What? I'm finding this out right now.
Did you?
It used to be, okay. So this channel used to be called youtube.com/jamminvlogs, because that was like my first incarnation of it.
Yeah.
And I like Slacker stuff was taken when I checked. That's amazing. So yeah, I guess you can do that now. That's pretty fucking awesome. And then, because like on Twitter, you can find me on Twitter, but I'm Slacker Stuffs. I hit up the guy with Slacker Stuff, and he
just ghosted you.
Respond.
Probably just inactive.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I do have Slacker Stuff on Instagram, so there is that. But yeah, and then BitBracket. Hit up BitBracket if you like some fun. It's just some meme sort of bullshit that we just figure out. Oh, what's the best piece of cheese or whatever? So, I don't know. But yeah, thank you again. I can't tell you enough how much I appreciate being on.
Oh, yeah, man, it was a blast talking with you, dude. And if everyone in the chat, if you all bear with us for a little bit longer, we're gonna throw a raid at somebody. We're gonna share that love. See who's on right now. Let me pull up. Let's see. I'm gonna pull up my phone.
I know is on. I wish I was on right now.
I always want to try to like make sure, you know, if there's someone I haven't rated yet or rated in like a long time, I can try to get them. But let's see. Bears. I don't think I rated into bears. You know, fuck it. Let's raid into bears and beasts, because I don't think I have yet. So let's go do that. She's awesome. She's playing some Hollow Knight right now. Game I'm gonna be starting pretty soon. Yeah, let's go into her channel. Yeah, thanks again, everybody. All the love to you. This has been a great chat with Ben. I will be on again Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm going to be continuing our playthrough of Ocarina of Time Master Quest. And of course, all our other friends are on this weekend. We got B's on this weekend, a couple days. We got Jordan, Jay Dagner, he'll be on this weekend. Rasso will be on this weekend. Hopefully Berezovsky will be on, all the friends. And of course, like I always say, if you see a name in the chat, they're more than likely a streamer. Just keep that whole circle of going. Keep giving all the love to everybody.
Subscribe to Kopps right there. I can see. Wait. There. On the stream is behind, but yeah, it's somewhere right here. I think I got it.
But yeah, thanks again, everybody, and let's go say hi to Bears and Beats. See what she's up to. So, anyway, have a good rest of your week, everybody. Have a good weekend. Catch you Sunday, and until next time, have a good one, everybody.
Later.
See ya.